It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky.
Hey, get the stick.
Yeah. Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Has a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
hooty hoo. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's here. We're finally here. CLOL NECC Conference Grand Finals. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I'm Beautiful Crow, and I got my boy Quacks with me today on the cast, bringing in some heavy reinforcements for this Grand Finals, man. It's Fisher College versus Ole Miss. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling great. Crow, we have not worked together. We've been in the scene for so long, and yet this is the first time you and I are actually on a cast together. We've interacted so much, so I'm really excited to get this series underway, specifically with you. We've got Fisher College versus Ole Miss, and two teams that have been very prevalent in the CLOL season. And I'm really excited to see which of these guys can crown themselves champions, or in the case of Ole Miss, re-crown themselves and hold on to that title that they claimed last year.
Exactly. Ole Miss want to go back-to-back because we are looking at the rosters here. Fisher College running with Yayo, Brinswena, Brabro, and Magi. Ole Miss running with Stry, Keel, Sela, Shogo, and Rhino.
Yep.
And honestly, yeah, like you said, they're looking for that back-to-back. They're looking to hold on to the crown. This is actually a rematch, I believe, of the Winners Bucket Finals a while back, where Fisher actually took that in a very close 5-game series, 3-2. So maybe history repeats itself here, or is this going to be, like we said, Ole Miss keeping that crown and saying, hey, Winners Finals, that was a little bit of a fluke.
And I'm glad that you mentioned this series that, you know, these two played against each other a couple of weeks ago, Crow, because I think that it's really going to be up to Ole Miss to fix the issues that we saw from them last week in order to get that extra game over Fisher. And like you said, it was super duper close, but one thing Fisher did that was very effective in all of the games they won was they attacked mid. It was really fun to see Asila versus Wayna in that mid lane, but Wayna was constantly getting, you know, assistance from Bruness, was constantly getting covered by his jungler. There was some roaming support plays by Magi as well, so they really had that mid on lock. They punished it heavily, and I think that was one of the really big reasons why they were able to take that series. And so this time around, Ole Miss are going to have to make sure that mid lane is a little bit more secure and can thrive come those mid to late game team fights.
Absolutely. I mean, they have, you know, had a little bit of a habit of saying, okay, Shogo, let's go.
Yep.
Come on, hype it, carry us, please get in this. But I mean, having to shore up the differences in the mid lane is going to be something I particularly am going to be watching a lot of, because we know the firepower Fisher's rocking with, right? I mean, you said it yourself, Wayna is just like a monster, has been a monster all season long.
Yeah.
So particularly in this rematch, in this series, in this one for all the marbles, we might see Wayne hit a Final Form that Ole Miss just can't, you know, deal with. And I mean, look, I know Colin Ribbon feeding the boys something crazy, getting them real stocked up for this. But I need to see the strats to see if they can contend with this Fisher lineup. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, you know, kind of touching up on Wayna a little bit more, I feel like the way in which that he plays the game is very unorthodox from a lot of mid laners. He really likes his assassins. He really likes those early game fighters. The Silas comes to mind. The Akali has been one that I feel like every team has had to fear and tremble before. That is probably his best champion. And then you've also got, you know, some of the Roa users that have been really proficient over the past patch with the changes to Catalyst. Things like the Rise have been really good. We've seen things like the Vegar come out here and there as well, even though that one's a little bit less common. So really the pool for Wayna is extensive, and Ole Miss, they're on red side, so they have a bunch of champions that they need to ban away. I'm curious to see if they drop those in favor of targeting that mid lane pool.
Okay, yep, and immediately that's Zyra.
Yep.
God, there's no way they're letting that through. I mean, very, very valid pick on that regard. This is gonna be fun. And Nefiri has been terrorizing a little bit of the league. I'm not gonna lie, abuse. Look, a little bit of a nerve. I still be seeing him in the ranked games, unfortunately, but definitely, you know, a valid pick to be taken off the table there. I want to see if they start pinching, more of this 80 carry pool. Ezreal taken off the table. We know that Shogo's just not allowed to play Ezreal, so go ahead and grab that one too. Maybe pinch it a bit more. Try to force them onto something less active, and, you know, make Asila in the mid lane have to default to, you know, one of their comfort picks.
That Aurora ban is actually really interesting to me. It's a common pick by Wayna, and it's something that he is really good on. And so I am wondering if, you know, the amount of self-peel that champion has with, you know, all of the spells in its kit, I am wondering if maybe Ole Miss are thinking of putting Asila on a bit more up in your face champion in the mid lane. Something like Jace could come to mind if he really just wants to get some of those extended trades on both of his forms. I think Aurora could throw a wrench in that plan and trade back with him in a way that he doesn't like. So the bans have finished through here. Fisher going to just immediately give Brabro his most proficient bot laner. And we haven't had a ton of time to talk about it quite yet, Crow, but, you know, we've been saying that Wayna is the bane of Ole Miss's existence. Shogo is very much the bane of Fisher's existence, so I do like that we are getting those bot lane picks immediately out for Fisher.
Correct. I knew, like, once the Ezreal was banned, the Corki was going to be that next up for grabs. You know, I didn't know if they're going to ban it out, but deciding to pick it away, really nice job, and immediate lock in the Rumble Vi. Okay, nice influence on the lanes. I know some people are a little bit of Vi haters, Vi deniers, but I still think she's just such a strong pick, especially in this realm of play. So very much good job for them to grab up on that. Answered back quickly, the Xayah pick. Okay.
Yeah,
so this is
that
Corki mid.
That screams to Wayna, who's just going to slam the Corki here. Bit of a dangerous blind, in my opinion, especially because we've already established that Ole Miss really want to go for an up-in-your-face champion. But I do like the read here from Fisher, picking up the Xayah, pairing it with the Rakan. You know, they're Batman and Robin in the bot lane, but, you know, Xayah in particular is super good at getting away from champions like the Vi as wow! Is that Yasuo locked in here? Now, I don't want to ruffle any feathers here or, you know, cook too much, but I believe Ole Miss have put Shogo on Yasuo in the past here, Crow.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have to double check on that one because, I mean, that could be the possibility. I do like it. I mean, inherent synergy, you know, with the Vi as well. So, you know, quick grab. We're going to have to see where that goes here as we go into the next ban phase. Taking out the Gnar. Always, you know, just get rid of Over-Reliable. I mean, both players very decent at Gnar. I mean, you kind of have to be, you know, in this form of play. So, looking to see what else could be possibly posturing on the table. The Jace, we talked about the Jace flex. Potentially, I mean, grab them for that extra, you know, mid lane if we do see, you know, the Yasuo actually go bot. I don't know if they want to index that heavy in AD at all, but looking to take away more top lane options here from Yayo. So, go ahead. Getting rid of the Jax as well, trying to force him back and maybe on more of a tank, more of just a body facilitator role.
Yeah, now I am, you know, thinking, what is Brunis actually going to go for? And we've saved jungle for an awfully long time. I am actually wondering if Fisher are thinking, okay, maybe we give, you know, a potential, you know, just good matchup over to Brunes, as it is going to be that Maokai locked in. Not sure what that last ban was, but we'll get back to you on that. This is all just setting up for the Yasuo show.
Right. This is the Yasuo comp.
Yep. We've got the cease and desist. We've got the Maokai knockup. We've got a ton of lockdown. This is the kind of comp that I was expecting to see coming out from Ole Miss. But it is very dangerous, Crow, because it is definitely a one-hit comp. You know, you're relying on this Yasuo to be your big carry. If that gets targeted, then you don't necessarily have as much ammo in the chamber that you would like.
I mean, yes, it is very... It's fight heavy. I mean, it's very, very scrappy, very, very fight heavy. As it will be that bot lane. As soon as I saw the Maokai locked in, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's support Maokai is happening. So we do get the Yasuo in the bot lane for Shogo. Your inclination was right, very correct. Passing grade on there.
Yep.
But now we have to see if Ole Miss can continue on this test here, because I mean, this is a very short range composition. It is a very, like I said, fight heavy composition. They're wanting to scrap early. They're wanting to get things done. And I mean, Fisher got a very stock standard team fight composition here. Let's see if it can hold up as we are jumping into the first game here in this grand finals. A lot of us projected it to go 5 games. I know I did. Let's see who strikes first as we get things started.
I am excited for this rematch, for this best of 5. And one thing, Crow, that we didn't really touch on in the draft that sort of escaped our eyes was the Gwungle coming out from Brunes. And, you know, Champion has gotten nerfed. We did say that the possibility was there that Ole Miss potentially drop one of the very popular red side bans in favor of just trying to pinch out certain players' champion pools. And we see that in real time. Gwen gets through the draft where usually that is almost certainly going to be banned in every single game. And I think Brunis, on this pick in particular, really going to have to be the big firepower for Fisher later on. Because sure, you've got a double marksman comp, but this thing can just absolutely tear you asunder, and especially with no real, you know, true tank on the side of Ole Miss, we'll be snipping those squishy boys down if it is left unattended by the side of Ole Miss.
Correct. And I mean, oh man, these first 10 minutes are going to spell a big danger. Should this not go the way of Ole Miss, is, you know, just trade a few blows back and forth on each side. I mean, I'm really wanting to see how Brunus does with this jungle Gwyn here. What lanes are going to be influenced? Like, I don't have a lot of experience with it, unfortunately, from the games that I have covered, but I do hear it can be potent in the right hands, and Brunus certainly can be those correct hands. This is off to a pretty even start. No shenanigans so far.
And I also like the double range abuse sort of here for Fisher. They're really going to just look to push Shogo and Rhino in. And not only does this apply pressure to the bot lane of Ole Miss, which is exactly what we said that Fisher needed to do, you know, sort of subjugate Shogo in this laning phase. Don't let him get too out of control. But it also buys a lot of priority for Brunus to play for if this Gwen ever maybe wants to make an aggressive play. And even if it doesn't, it dissuades the possibility of an invade or a potential aggressive play coming out from Keel on this fight.
Well, we do mention Keel, right? I mean, yeah, mention the fighting nature of this competition for Ole Miss. Where do we need to see Keel start a path towards? What lane do we specifically want him to influence to really get this ball rolling for Ole Miss? Because we know that snowball is going to be so effective, you know, once they hit these first item breakpoints. And how quickly that accelerates that really does tell a complexion of it. So where do we need to see Keel really go for?
I mean, we want to see him go for the bot lane. We're expecting Stray. You know, Stray is the quintessential lone wolf of the Ole Miss boys. I definitely think that his laning phase is really solid. Doesn't call a lot of attention, as you're seeing. He's just burning down Pajani in this lane phase.
Hey, man, I don't know if you've been down to Mississippi in that region, but cooked gator is definitely always on the menu at a lot of the nice little local shops. Ooh. And I mean, Stray, look at to set up a shop and stand right now. I mean, Yayo just barely surviving off of that.
Yep. He's going to have to recall teleport back. Not too consequential, though. The only thing that might be of consequence is that he loses priority. You can see Brunus is maybe going to try and go for a double crab of sorts.
Keel? Okay. Just showing face. Immediately, Valkyrie's popped. Lena, this is not what any part of that. But here is Stray once again. Oh, man, he did dash. This could be it. This could be first blood. Q flash in to make sure it lands. And, yeah, that's a guaranteed dumpster right there. Brunus will lose their life. And Lena looking pretty low. Might go for a second. No, they're just going to take that first blood. That's a little bit of a warning shot.
Good Q flash follow-up there from Keel as well to continue the CC train and continue just the damage train onto Brunus. And yeah, I mean, he didn't read where Stray could have been. It was probably Fisher assuming that Rumble went for a reset. Now he gets punished. Does go back, though, and, you know, manages to get his first item. Will be immediately back onto his camps, but gives a lot more extra gold over to Keel to potentially make plays on this Vi. Could certainly look for a dragon and just look to, you know, up that scaling game in the future, because this definitely is a fighting comp here, like you said a lot in Draft, Crow, that Ole Miss want to transition more into that mid to late game where they can layer those ultimates together.
Yep, and certainly at the 5 right now. That first blood is really all the action we got. Ole Miss with a tiny little bit of a lead, but Fisher can definitely slow the pace, you know, draw it out. Really doesn't have to force any fights, force any issues, as it really is on the onus of the engage. Oh, another on the Magi. Does have the E to get away. Will draw out the ignites from Rhino. That bird is burning.
Yeah, so it's going to be a reset that has to come out for the Fisher bot lane. And interestingly enough, Ole Miss actually really content with the way the wave is. It's slow pushing into them, so Shogo should be able to reset and match that along with Brabro, go back, get his first item. And now that, you know, that Ignite is down, though, for Rhino, I am wondering how much fight is realistically possible for this Ole Miss bot lane, especially because they haven't really regained priority. It has still been, you know, Brabro and Magi pushing them in. This has opened up a lot of doorways for Brunus, despite going down early, to continue farming and maybe now look for an objective, as both have spawned on the back.
I mean, the bot lane from Brabro and Magi, they're going to be pushing in priority-wise against Shogo and Rhino currently, like at this juncture, right? I mean, early on, even support Maokai just does not really, you know, have any defensive stats. You're just not there. So it is mostly on sapling duty and, you know, twisted advances to lock things down. So they're not really going to try to completely go for those all-ins, as you do see Rhino trying to do his duty as a good support, get a little vision. Unfortunately, though, he might be walking into the wrong saloon here, just drawing some time, but actually saves him off from completing the dragon.
And because of that earlier push from Rhino, the assistants... Oh, hang on.
Magi might be caught. No, battle dances, but the twisted advance follows all the way through. Looks to open him up, but no. Once again, Fisher, they do not want to try this fight. They want to separate themselves from skirmishes early, so they will just disengage and walk away for now.
And really good recognition from Ole Miss saying, wait, that's illegal on the dragon. I mean, it was Ole Miss. They managed to only get the one grub, but they can immediately return to it if they want to. You know, Asila getting pushed in the mid lane. Shogo also managed to push in the bot lane a little bit, so much so that he could roam up toward that river. And it means that Brunes is not able to secure that dragon. The scaling doesn't get put onto a new frontier for Fisher. As Flash from Rhino. Good luck there from Meiji.
That's huge. That's huge. No flash for the Maokai Rhino. Not even 6 just yet. Didn't want to have to deal with any of that smoke, as Keel will go ahead and take this dragon. No contestant. So first drink of the game goes the way of Ole Miss. But I mean, it's just... both Barbaro and Magi weren't 6 yet, so I didn't think there was that all-in threat from the Lovers duo. But, you know, still smart on Rhino. Just go ahead and flash. Don't even risk it. As Shogo, though, playing up in their face. Brother, you are 1v2. Here comes Rhino, though, just in the nick of time. Shogo falling very, very low. Potentially could still take this 2v2 if they want to.
Definitely could, but I highly doubt they're going to. Barbaro... You know, most AD carries don't care about their current mana pool, but I think Xayah, you know, being so reliant on that Feather Recall, and especially now having the ultimate, the Feather Storm, definitely wants better conditions before fighting. So tries to cancel that back, isn't going to be able to do so. And on the other side of the map, Brunis managing to snag away a grub, didn't manage to look for the second one, so that lone wolf grub just sitting there in the pit. And I actually think this is a really good strategy from Ole Miss. Stray, maybe looking for a kill. Overheats, but yeah, not going to be able to find it. But this is a good strategy from Ole Miss to just kind of starve out those grubs, because Fisher are a grub team. They love to take that topside objective, so delaying the respawn and making it more difficult for these side lane threats in the Renekton, or, you know, these more gold-heavy, gold-needy, I should say, champions like the Gwen and the Corki, sort of starving them out of that objective is a really good idea. I like what Ole Miss have been doing in this early game. Around these objectives, they've really made it difficult for Fisher to capitalize off of that push in bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, very due noted. They did draw that timer out for the grubs as long as possible. It's okay. Oh, right there. Asila just loading the clip, just letting it fly. Wayne just passed it back off. But they will finish up that grub, so get those finalized for them. I mean, like I said, I do like drawing up the timer on it a lot, you know, making that next spawn of them come a bit later. I haven't really been able to see a lot of Lunas here, as now we go into this mid lane. Immediate Asila has to burn the flash, but can they get away far enough? Oh my god, that's so much damage. Brunis, I'm sorry I spoke ill of you, because as soon as you appear, there's damage to be done on the screen. Asila's still living for a moment, but no, falls in the last moment. Here comes the equalizer down from Stray, will burn down Brunis. So 1 for 1 all in the Fracar, but the low health bars on Fisher do spell for Rhino to charge forward. They do have a wave at the tower, but that will be it for now.
And it's a 1 for 1, but it's a costly one for the side of Ole Miss. They commit a bunch of ultimates, flashes from 3 different sources as well. Stray, a little late to the party, so we'll surrender a couple of plates over to Yayo on this Renekton.
Oh, they're back. Ooh, Rhino stayed around. Had a little bit of a plan in the comms of Ole Miss. But yes, very, very good fight overall from both sides. Like you said, there were a lot of spells burned from Ole Miss. Fewer burned on the side of Wayna. Let's do go to this replay real quick.
Yeah, so, I mean, Magi having to use that W early means that the follow-up isn't as efficient. They lock down the recon. I love the re-engage there from Shogo. The openings that this Yasuo has with this comp, this is what it's built for. right? And it doesn't really result in anything too big. Like we said, it's a 1-for-1 here, but imagine the amount of follow-up that Yasuo can provide once these small skirmishes turn into team fights and that Yasuo gets a few more items, Crow.
Yeah, that was, you know, a little bit of a tasting menu, a little bit of a demo of the feast to come should Ole Miss, should Ole Miss keep going with this comp that they have. And the fact that Magi got out there alive is actually criminal, because that man was on maybe 5 HP at the end of that. I mean, look, Rakan's going to do what Rakan's going to do. I love it, but man, that was actually scary. And now we do see more focus towards the top lane. I think they would have cooked this Gator. I think they would have cooked this boy. There's the Q, gonna be expended. Oh man, easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Ultimate burn there from Yayo as well to try and survive, but the overheat was amazing. What?
Syla gonna fall once again. Rhino, though, says, don't worry, I'll hold him down. Victory in death acquired, and Keel is back with a vengeance. Taking another one. This Vi is completely online. I said it from the jump in the draft. I'm like, hey, if there's one thing Keel's gonna do on this Vi, it's influence the map as best they can. Vi is very coin flippy, very heads or tails a lot of the times. It's feast or famine with this champion, and the Ole Miss team is definitely feasting right now.
For sure. And Keel is the big boy Landshark. He is the great white on Ole Miss at the current moment. And despite getting 3 kills, Ole Miss actually not putting a ton of onus, as Keel actually used that Q, so Brunus can pre-hit it for him. For a
no
bit.
flash either. He might just die here. Yeah, no escape for him. Have to fight it out. That's going to be the shutdown gold going over to Brunus. Oh dear. That's a little, you know, getting a little too big for your britches, as my folks used to say. You know, get a little too hot-headed. But that's the appropriate response.
And crucially enough, nothing big burned. The needlework is still there for Bruness. You've got Magi. His ultimate is, you know, about 3/4 off of cooldown. So it is just going to mean, you know, jungler down, Fisher going to go to the objective that they love so much, the grubs. Next on the menu, Ole Miss, try as they might in those first 10 minutes. Fisher find an opening, get their objective, and now they've got a lot more access to getting gold on the map for their carries.
Yeah, but Stray's gonna pop their heads, and the last grub will fall. Might be getting collapsed on. It's a jump, but onto who? It's onto Stray. He does a lot of damage but he's dead immediately. His kill. You're jumping into a flaming pit of death. What are you doing, my brother? I may have cast a curse him a little bit too much, too highly of him. I mean, you got those fight glasses on, and sometimes you are able to China shop and you only see destruction. But unfortunately for Ole Miss, it was on their side. Fisher getting 2 more kills. Now Brunus is definitely in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. Brunus got 2 shutdowns in the last 3 minutes from 0-2 to now 3-2. This Gwen is definitely eating good, as we're going to take another look at that. So I love the turn from Brunus. They immediately go on to Stray, recognize that they have the ability to burst this guy down. By the time Keel comes in, he's 1v3. You can see there is an attempt to try and follow up from you know, further down on the river by you know, support mid, but it's too late. The timing was off. The punishment was not there. And Brunus, like you said, Crow, he reaps the rewards and has gotten himself a big pair of scissors. 3-2-1. This Gwen is online, and Ole Miss need to find a way to take it down a notch. Otherwise, it'll scale out of control.
Yeah, they definitely need to slow it down. Where's that moment? I mean, when you see that your man that you're trying to save, if their health bar drops below 1/3, baby, just turn around. He took the Q train to downtown, and they ran his pockets. And unfortunately, now this puts Stray in a very precarious situation. They want to try and run it back again. He's baiting. He's trying to get on the Yayo here. The Q's there. Q flash misses just barely. And Yayo probably did the Tony Yayo dance, getting out alive with it. Oh my goodness. Ole Miss kind of falling apart here at this 15-minute mark. Need to regroup their mental.
And you can see Keel spotted on the top side. Means that Fisher may be looking for an aggressive play on the bot side. Yes, they are.
This 2v2, this do-si-do happening in real time. Once again, though, just a few little blows thrown. No hard committals. It's Magi and Brabro want to go ahead and get out of there. Shogo, though, just delaying the back. Shogo is so annoying. Oh my god, the pressure.
Yeah,
he's just not allowing them to breathe.
These NATOs are absolutely criminal. I mean, that Feather Storm was used, so now Shogo and Rhino, they delayed the backs. Keel is here.
Oh no. The wave is just now approaching too. They could dive this. They could dive this as the tower will fall in mid lane. And
Oh
yeah,
my
they're
God.
throwing it all.
He doesn't miss.
He doesn't miss, and Rhino's still going too. Deeper in the back line. Shogo gonna follow up through, get himself another one. They want to keep this fight on. This 2v2 is actually crazy. The Bash Bros in the ball pit will be shut down. The wind does a significant amount of damage. With the upkeep is there. Yayo gonna survive as long as he can to get something back, but guess what? Here is the mid. Here comes the Syla to clean it up. Whew, 3 kills to the, I believe, just 1? Coming back from Fisher? Oh, this. What is it? What is it in water right now? Because y'all are playing crazy.
I mean, that dive, just the recognition, canceling those backs was absolutely crucial. Shogo has been landing NATO after NATO. I know he's EU. I don't know if he knows, you know, who Kobe Bryant is, but he is shooting them like Kobe in this game. 1 NATO lands. You can see Brabro and Meiji, they have nowhere to go. They don't have the Featherstorm. The only thing they have are those flashes, but another NATO lands. The follow-up is immaculate. The teleport to try and save face. Rhino goes on a very magical journey, you know, closer between the towers. And then Shogo misses his first NATO of, you know, maybe even the game, despite the fact that we haven't been on cams with the guy the whole time. The follow-up from Keel and Asyla is good. They take down Yayo. And yeah, just really good play coming out there from Ole Miss. Also just great recognition of those first item breakpoints. You mentioned this earlier in the game, Crow, how that would be a big point that, you know, Ole Miss wanted to try and attack Fisher on, and they did just that. Shogo has his Blade of the Ruin King. First items are complete for basically everybody on Ole Miss, and now it's just a matter of taking what you have, taking that snowball and rolling it down the hill in regards to this Yasuo.
Oh yeah, they're trying to make this an avalanche, babe. I know we're like in the dead middle of April right now, but it is it is flurrying outside. It is getting worse. This is the strength of this composition. This is exactly what Ole Miss needed to do. They had a little bit of a stumble, a little bit of a blunder going on, you know, in that top side with Keel losing a few kills back to Brunis, but they have been able to regroup a bit because, I mean, Shogo, we talk about him so much, you know. This is, you know, one of the strongest players in the league, you know, the MVP, Mr. Ole Miss, Mr. Bot Lane, but he's getting dove right now by 4. I don't know if he can hold all of them off. This might just be spell destructive tower, but it's the fact that Ole Miss is not afraid to fight because they know they have to fight. They won't trade tower for tower, lane for lane. I'm not sure they can keep this going though, as Shogo needs some backup here as the full 5 of Fisher are pushing on to
the flank
tower. This is a good flank coming in. All hands running up towards that red side of the buff, but now they want to fight. Stray pushing it on forward. Just a fight on 2 fronts, split right down the middle, but all hands on deck for Ole Miss as they are throwing bows. First blood though will be drawn from Fisher as the low health bars are blinking, but they can't get anything. They're funneling into the bushes. They're funneling into the chunk points, and Brutus is getting everything that he asked for served up to him on a silver platter.
So low!
And that's going to be 3 fallen from Ole Miss, only losing 1 on the Fisher camp. Quacks, how in the hell did they get out of that on top?
I mean, they're not out of the woods yet. You could see there is Victor from Arcane ready to stop them. Let's see if Asyla can make it happen. Oh, no. He's going to live to fight another day, it looks like.
He's got to head for the hills.
Head for the hills. Oh, maybe he'll find a bird on the way back. Nope. And Fisher make out like bandits, Crow. That was absolutely insane. It looked so good for Ole Miss in that fight. They had the flanks, they layered their ultimates. Fisher were split as well, but somehow they're on the receiving end of a beating. Fisher give 2 more kills over to the Gwen. That Seeker's Arm Guard is complete for Brunes. It's 5-2-1 on the jungler for Fisher. And Ole Miss, they really got to start, you know, praying that those dragons can be their win con. That, you know, taking away that scaling objective will do them good. Because at this point, if Fisher get their hands on even one of these drakes, Ole Miss might be in for a rude awakening from here on out.
It's a very scary scenario because, I mean, like I said, the biggest thing... Oh, no, bro, you're stuck. Oh, Brutus, you played too close to the sun. Shutdown return. Here comes the rest of the team. Fight, fight, fight is the name of this game, and they are fighting the ball pit for sure. Lena will get out for a moment. Here comes the flank, though. Asyla is on the backside. They are on to Rhino, who can't get really too much done. Will fall. 3 more members of Ole Miss having to run. The Land Sharks are dipping. But I mean, that's the thing. They're fighting in these really awkward choke points. They're fighting in the bushes and in these areas where Ole Miss cannot really thrive. They can't access these backline champions. They can't access the Corki or the Zaya. So every time they're having to funnel into a literal meat grinder, that is the Renekton, that is the Gwen, and it just makes their job so much harder to get things done.
But now the job of Fisher got a whole lot harder as well. Ole Miss, 21.5 minutes in, they're on soul point. And really, it was just because Brunis taking those Hex Gates, going too far without his team. They tried to keep him alive. They tried to support him and, you know, make sure that Gwen could get out of there, but weren't able to do so. And now the Ruinous Otacon, you know, the thing that buffs up all of your pre-established and to-be-established sort of neutral objective buffs, that is on the table. If Ole Miss get that opportunity onto Brunis again, it'll be right to that top side objective. And then I think Fisher, despite so many kills on this mid jungle, they have got to start worrying about their positioning and worrying about this late game.
Ooh, they're gonna go try and go on a Magi. He's running the ultimate for this. They want that bird dead. That goose is cooked, baby. Syla gonna go ahead and claim that one. Keel, can he get out? He has no flash, he has no ultimate, has to stay and will fall. Once again, the bodies are just traded back and forth. Ole Miss, you're in a weird position. Try to get out of this. Shogo eating a lot of damage here. Wayna definitely at this item breakpoint now with the Muramana is just, you know, shredding through to so much damage every single time. Those rockets are absolutely potent. So it gets scary. They're keeping this as neck and neck as it can be. Both of these teams, you know, they're ranked right. I mean, if you look at the CLOL rankings, they're right above each other. You know, they're right on top of each other. They had a grand final, or winner's final rather, that went to 5 games. This is as expected be for this matchup. And now this Otacon that we were talking about, the buff to be so good for Ole Miss to grab.
Here we go.
I don't think they're gonna be able to grab it. There goes the equalizer from Stray, but it's not gonna
Wayna goes down
away. And now they're still fighting. Wayna is dead.
Get the flowers!
Forward. Asyla trying to get it done. They're focusing on the wrong flowers. They need to focus on the rosebuds in front of them. They need to be clipped, as they will lose 2 more bodies. They are
Shogo!
fighting through this. Shogo appears, but the ultimate is for nothing. Oh no! Keel is back in the mix. He's high on life, but low on friends as they are fighting through this. Asyla has no mana, cannot fight through this either. They're jumping straight onto him. Great flash is burned, but he cannot provide any more support. It is Keel versus 3.
Oh my God!
Keel will fall at the end of it all, and Brutus comes out on top because I'm the big dog in the yard. Fisher coming out with the Otacon and more kills. They say dragons be damned. We're taking this.
And oh my God, Brunis playing that fight to perfection. A beautifully timed arm guard allows for his support to get back to him, re-engage the fight. They picked off Shogo as well. Beautiful target selection all around. As there are too many things to talk about in this replay. It was such a chaotic exchange. But we're gonna try here, Crow. Bravo managing to get on out. I love the re-engage from Meiji and the just absolute gauze on this Renekton. Yayo, half HP, less than half HP, goes back in with his support. Shogo tries to be the hero. He goes down, and he goes forward still. The Renekton, it costs him his life. But this guy just will not stop, cannot stop. Brunis with, like I said, that clutch arm guard. The follow-up there from Meiji, understanding the target is now Keel. Fisher, they are playing out these fights so well. It might be Ole Miss winning in the objectives department, taking them away from Fisher, but every time it seems that there is a scrap between these two guys, Fisher are always the ones that end up with the bigger prize.
It's so scary because had that 2v3 scenario up there near Krugs gone differently, if Asyla actually had mana, that was Ole Miss's win 100%. And the last little stragglers off. I mean, Keel cannot just do out consistent damage. Vi is a bursty champion, you know? That's what's going to happen every single time. And like you said, the target selection, Yayo doing the best hero play of the game, getting that flash Q auto.
Literal
to
hero,
make sure they fall as they're going on to Rhino
on
again.
Bravo.
They are on Bravo. He's done a really good job of getting out. He will die this time, though. It spins the flash to get it done, but what does the rest of the fight look like? It's a wide open in the mid lane. This is where Ole Miss need to fight. This is where Ole Miss will thrive. Not in the corridors, but in a wide open field where you are not going to be able to maneuver around, where you're not going to be able to run, and you will not be able to survive the Land Sharks as they will get a full ace. This tennis game is going back and forth and back and forth, and this time, The ball serve from Ole Miss is great, and Barron is their prize.
That team fight was absolutely out of nowhere, Crew. What did I just see? Somehow, some way, Keel manages to execute Brabro before the fight even gets to a crazy point. He goes for the Q flash. That was absolutely immaculate. That starts out the fight, and that honestly ends it, because at that point, Fisher were down a man. Keel didn't have to expend his ultimate, so the re-engage to allow Shogo to get into the fight with the Vi was still up and available. They get the Baron. The Dragon is next up. It'll be Hextech Soul for Ole Miss, and Fisher, they've got scaling champions, but they don't have scaling objectives.
Yep, they don't want to contest that at all. They knew. I mean, multiple times throughout the early game, Fisher would contest Ole Miss after any sort of like big objective fight, but in this case, no. We're too far in. We're 26 minutes now. There's no reason, no ideal way for them to do that. And I mean, that's, you know, great on Ole Miss. Sure, they lost out on Otacon, but they did wind up getting the soul, so they are buffed up considerably for these next fights. And now with Baron, they have to play a little smart. Now, one thing I did say with this composition is the fact that it will be really hard to siege, really hard to get these towers, you know, if they don't drop some bodies from Fisher first. And now with everything moving towards the inner towers, it does get a little bit harder in that regard. Yes, the grubs will help, but I mean, wave clear of Zaya and Corky ain't nothing to scoff at.
Absolutely, and you know, you were talking about target selection there from Fisher. They've got to make sure that they find the right man, and that right man is 110% at this point Shogo. We didn't really get to touch on it, but the Yasuo was falling behind significantly in this game. Had 2 items, was still relevant, but wasn't the carry that Ole Miss needed. Now he has 3. He's super strong. Can he carry the fight?
Ooh, Magi. You're done, son. Will be the first casualty here. Shogo gets the shield as well. He's going to outlast and survive. Shogo stays alive, and that spells doom for Fisher. Looking so good just moments ago, but now, ever since that mid lane fight, then the Baron, it is all Ole Miss all the time, as now they're knocking on Heaven's door, only having to deal with a Croc and another Bird. They don't want to take the chance. They want to go ahead and push this in. They want to go ahead and end this. Game number 1 looking to be finished off here. Not quite enough of a wave to push in, but they will take at least a tower inhib for their troubles.
Probably more than that. Shogo pushing up that top wave. You can see they're going to immediately pivot over, take that turret down, probably just go for the double inhibitors. And that puts a lot of pressure on Fisher, on this top side in particular. Really, if you're Fisher, the most you can hope for is an Elder, but that might not be possible. Ole Miss are going in.
This could be the finishing touches here. They are focusing the towers. They do have some cannon minions to work with as the rest of Fisher is spawning out, but no, they're going to take the Hex Gates. They get out of here, gang. The Fuzz are here, just like me in my college days. But it will be a little bit of time of breath and reprieve for Ole Miss as they're setting up the final plans to put the pin in this game number 1.
And looking back, I mean, Fisher, it seemed like the ball was in their court. Sure, you miss on 3 dragons, but after that Otacon, it felt like the game was just inevitable there for Fisher. But, you know, Ole Miss find an absolutely insane clutch team fight. Keel takes down Brabro, saves his ultimate, allows Shogo to re-engage when the Vi goes back in. They get that clean ace, and ever since then, it just feels like the game has felt impossible for Fisher. Now Meiji might be in a bit of trouble.
Oh, he gets away. Rakan's a slippery little bird. Love him to death, but Wayna, okay, similar story. We'll be able to get away. Valkyrie extended. No. Oh, God, he's not going to get away. I spoke too soon. Quack, I'm so sorry. I thought he was clear. He saw the home base and said, I am safe. No, it will be stolen away. Oh, man. That's a long death time or 2 on one of your, you know, stronger carries to try and get you to the defensive part of your base. The last tower will fall. There is the last bit of engage. Brabro's going to burn down. They will fall. Brunus is going golden, but it's not to be gilded as he will fall too. The meat grinder of Ole Miss is all there. They want another ace, pat some stats. Striking first blood, striking first turret, getting that first win in their column for this series. We got ourselves a hot start to this grand final, Quacks, and Ole Miss knocking 1 in that column.
You know, if I take nothing else away from this game, Crow, it's that 5 games, the rematch going all the way to Silver Scrapes is a very real possibility. That game was back and forth, band for band. These teams were trading over and over and over, and I loved Every single second of it. Give me 5 games of that, please. I am requesting. Such a good game, though, from the side of Ole Miss. There were some hiccups in the mid-game. Fisher were winning out on a lot of those exchanges, but they kept hunkering down. They fortified themselves. They waited for their moment to strike. And that moment did not come in, conventional ways. It came with a fist, and Kiel punched through, and I would say allowed that win to be a knockout onto Fisher. Really big props over to Kiel, but also huge props over to Shogo on that Yasuo. We had a lot of questions on how effective that pick would be, and it struggled in the early game, but once it had those openings, once it had those knockups to be able to get those last breaths in the middle of those team fights, it excelled and absolutely cut down the rest of Fisher.
Hey, I did say those first 10 minutes would, spell a really different complexion for this game, and honestly, I'm happy to be right in that regard. I mean, look, Kiel looking like a young George Foreman with those hands for sure. Like, it was either Kiel goes in, everything goes good, or Kiel goes in, everything goes bad. Like, that was kind of
disaster, yeah.
Like that was kind of how the story of this game went. And unfortunately, that composition that Ole Miss did draft, the farther the game went on, if they were at least keeping even, you were in trouble because Maokai's getting more durable, Rumble's getting more powerful, Shogo on the Yasuo scaling better and better each time, and that's exactly what you showed. Like, that's exactly what we saw, right? We saw them lose a bunch of fights, but they were still getting kills and gold and funneling within each of those fights. So even though like they lost, they weren't really losing, you know what I mean? So when it came down to those really important objective fights or the fights before objectives, they were able to come right back on the map, clean it up, and go get the objectives. And the dragon stacking very much helped out in that regard too.
I agree, and I think that Fisher, this might be a little bit of a wake-up call for them because, they were probably as surprised as we were at the result and the trajectory of that game. More specifically, you lose one big team fight and the game just kind of fell apart, as it was assembling together into this masterpiece for Fisher. So I think that, Fisher in game number 2, little bit tilted, if I'm being honest with you. I might be a little bit tilted as well. They're going to use that. They are going to punch back in game number 2. I can feel it in my bones, and I'm excited to see what they've got in store.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. It's going to be good. Don't fight in choke points. That's all I'm saying. Just watch out for the choke points, because that was like the main win con for a lot of the fights that Fisher had. I mean, you're running into a literal meat grinder. Gwen ultimate, Corki Gatling plus rockets, Zaya literal feathers. Like, don't fight in these weird areas. But that's something to reflect on, something for them to think on. Like you said, it's gonna be a long day. I got all day. Quacks, you got all day too. So we're gonna send you a quick break. When we come back, we got game number 2 between Fisher and Ole Miss in this grand finals. Don't go too far.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick.
I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh!
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, do you the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
Oh, so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Has a
ago.
dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
Hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Welcome back. I'm still hot, still racing. Game number 1 was on fire. Let's see if they kept these coals going for game number 2. We're back here, CLOL NECC. You know what it is. It's Beautiful Crow. It's Quacks. And we're getting this game number 2, bro. Like, What else is there to be said? We knew it was going to be crazy from moment one.
Yeah.
Let's see if they keep it going.
Yep, and we have had word that for Game 2, it is going to it's going to be Fisher on the red side. So that means that we are going to be switching sides, and that means that first pick going to be given over to Ole Miss. Now, Crow, I don't know how familiar you are with the current state of red side bans, but I touched on it a little bit in Game 1. Nefiri and Gwen have basically populated and monopolized two of the three bans in that first phase for red side because they are such proficient and flexible first picks. And I think, we saw obviously in the jungle there for Brunis in game number 1, but it's also said that Keel can play it as well in the jungle, and also in the top lane. I believe Stray is a practitioner of Gwen, so the flexibility of that champion likely going to be banned in game number 2. The Nefiri as well, we've seen Keel pilot that. And the big kind of question is, are we going to be seeing with those banned and with those taken away, those two huge carries in the jungle and top lane roles, if we are going to see Ole Miss, sort of revert back and stick to their guns from what they did in game number 1, which is give Shogo the ball, hope he delivers a slam dunk?
Honestly, I would hope so. I feel like that vibe needs to be taken off the table by Fisher. I mean, not even if they don't want to pick it, because I would assume Brunes could pick Vi. I mean, at this point, you have to have a good Vi. Maybe, I mean, I saw the Wukong stayed banned too. I don't know if they want to swap out those bans or not, just to see. I mean, because the jungle priority, I do feel, does make this game very, very different complexions. Because Brunis kind of didn't really come into the game until around that 6-minute mark when he was getting those kills, because he was down, I believe, it was 0-2
0-2,
or so, before he actually came online with the Gwen. So I do think the fight for Gwen and Vi could be something that can evolve through the series. I say keep it banned just to stay safe and just move on from there. So that's my take on it, but who's really to say at the end of it?
And it is, funny that you mentioned the Vi is a must ban, because then that is all three bans, populated. You're taking away the Nefiri, the Gwen, because we said those are maybe givens. Obviously, we saw Gwen slip through the ban phase in game number 1. But then that also leaves a ton of carries open to Shogo. Right? I mean, you triple ban jungle, essentially, and then Shogo can go on the Ezreal. Shogo can go on, things like the Varus, the Corki. The Jinx is also something that he, I think, is really, really good on. So it leaves a lot of, draft opportunities open for that bot lane, which, as we have said, Crow, is exactly where Ole Miss like to play through. So it's a question of, do you value taking away those strong meta picks, or do you value pinching the win condition of Ole Miss? Because I do think that you're going to have to choose one or the other. You can't really go halfway. I feel like you have to index into, all in on one.
That is very true. That is very true. And I mean, you saw how much pinching they did on the marksman pool for game number 1. And then they're just like, all right, Shogo, play Yasuo. Have fun. Do whatever you want. And I'm just like, all right. So clearly the marksman index is, a non-factor in this case. So, pivoting towards getting that jungle secured and maybe getting the top lane secured, maybe top or mid, that opens up a few bans for both of those, should be something on Fisher's mind here. Just because, I mean, Asila for Ole Miss did have a relatively slower game, not very impactful in the later team fights, but was not really the star. When we came into this saying that, the Asila versus Wayna matchup was going to be more Wayna skewed, more Wayna favored. So it's okay, don't really have to worry about mid lane too much, but focusing, like I said, on that jungle pool, maybe on that top lane pool, because Keel was absolutely phenomenal last game.
Yeah. There were a few mistakes from the Vi here and there, most notably the one where he tried to invade the blue, went down, and then that opened up a cascade, I should say, of shutdowns there for the Gwen. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Keel definitely was kind of the secondary carry behind Shogo. You mentioned Asila, and he ended 11-2, and we didn't give a ton of attention over to him on the Victor. I definitely agree with your assessment. But Fisher, you know, we didn't talk about it, but the Zyra is probably was
They're
going to
keeping it
remain
away.
banned. They're gonna ban that away in game number 2. So that means one of these strong picks is either gonna slip through, or you have to take away some of Shogo's pool. So one of Gwen or Nefiri will make it through the bans.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, unfortunately, you can't ban them all. Sorry,
Nope.
it's not going to happen, but they will take away the Corki. They did feel like it was too much of a problem. Honestly, Wayna was doing some pretty flashy things on it. Now for Fisher, like I said, I do want to see the jungle pool pinched. I do want to see them, you know, maybe force Keel onto something else. They will actually decide to go away and get rid of the Rumble. So
It's a good ban.
very good ban. I mean, Stry was doing some crazy team fighting with it. I mean, that equalizer definitely equalized a lot of those fights going later on for Ole Miss, and that leaves, unfortunately, the Nefiri open and immediate snag up from Ole Miss.
Yep. Probably going to go the way of Keel. I don't believe that we have seen Fury mid in competitive quite yet, Crow. But who knows? Maybe this is going to break new ice. Probably not, though. But that also means Gwen was unbanned. So both of those strong picks are available. You can see Yayo going to immediately snatch up the Jace. This is something that he is really good with. Wayna could also flex it into the mid lane, but Wayna is definitely, you know, more privy to the mages. So this would be kind of breaking new ground for him as well. That Gwen going to be locked up. So no big surprises thus far in the draft, Crow.
Okay. Yeah, no big surprises. Getting those that power combo of Jace and Gwen, but that means Mama's coming home. Hold on, the Ambessa pickup for Ole Miss. You know, I think, hey, call it a hunch, but I think we're gonna see another bare knuckle brawling composition coming out from Ole Miss here, just in a different flavor with the mid lane pick of the Ahri now for a side. Okay, that's a little bit of a different complexion, but it's a very welcome one.
Yeah, he likes a lot of these mages that are similar to Ahri, you know, something like the Lissandra is what he really enjoys. Syndra is there as well. And yeah, I'm glad that Fisher actually didn't throw this Jace into the mid lane. This is a bad matchup for Jace going against the Ahri, so it's going to be Wayna on the Sylas. There are a plethora of good ultimates for him to steal already, so this means that, you know, Ole Miss have to be a little bit more aware going forward on who they pick, because it could just be ammo for the Sylas to use later in those skirmishes, in those team fights that we know are going to dominate these games, because they dominated game 1, they're going to dominate game 2 if these comps are any indication. And it's definitely more of a comfort pick for Wayna this time around. While his Corki wasn't necessarily bad, I didn't, you know, feel like he had as much impact as a player of his caliber would have liked to have. Usually Wayna is the guy that is racking up those kills, is really the star of the show. And I didn't really feel like he was the star in that first game. This time around, I think the comp that's built around the Sylas is more poised to give him a spotlight.
And now you really do have to factor in the thing of the Sylas, you know, the ultimate that he's stealing. There's a pretty decent few. I mean, the best ultimate is really fun to grab for him, as well as the Ahri ultimate could be fun. You know, add more mobility with Sylas. Oh God, that's terrifying. But it will be. I want to say just going to run back, you know, the Lovers bot lane for Fisher, because you know they had a decent time of things. You know, it wasn't too ridiculous. But it's just. It feels very safe. Once again, no real tanks on the side for Fisher. They're just really going for a more damage-fronted composition. Ole Miss with the Lucian pickup. How are we feeling on this one?
Ooh, I mean, paired up with the Lilio, I like this a lot more. This is a Shogo pick that I think that a lot of people don't talk about. He loves to play stuff like this, really up in your face lane phase dominance. And yeah, like you said, we're going to see the Lovebirds down in the bot lane yet again. I really felt like with how pinched the AD carry pool was getting, Varus, Corki, Ashe, Misfortune, Trist, Jhin, and Ezreal were taken off the board. Just absolute monopoly of AD carries being taken away. Xayah really was the only option there for Brabro. So they are pinching the AD carry pool for Fisher yet again. And this indicates to me, Crow, that we're going to yet again see, you know, Ole Miss really prioritize down in that bot lane, try to get Shogo ahead. We've seen Lucian have a bit of a resurgence in the meta with people that are really effective on it. Most notably, Sajed in the NACL has been kind of piloting that to a lot of success on Dark Zero, and Shogo is another very good Jhin player. So I think Ole Miss Their heart is in the right place. Their draft is really good. Yet again, their draft in game 1 was also really good. I think Colomer has definitely been cooking here in game number 1 and 2. And Fisher, they've got their firepower up toward the top side. That's what they like. But again, my eyes are on Wayna. You've got a bunch of good ultimates to steal. You've got a really good comp around you. And you are the firepower of this team. And you got to make sure that you can tie up this series.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If there were any scenario for a Wayna carry me please game, it would be this.
It's this one. Yep.
I mean, it's such a good setup for him to be successful. Brabro can get things done. Had really solid Xayah play last time around. No annoying pesky dive tanks to really deal with them this time. So it is success set up on the table for Fisher to tie this up. But we are getting into it once again. No invades, no level 1 shenanigans. Just drawing the line and daring them to cross it. Ooh-wee. Quacks, we getting into it.
Yeah, and Keel rocking that Ignite. This has been a, you know, I would say you're more likely to see, at least in competitive play, Nefiri with the Ignite instead of the Flash. It just gives you so much more fighting potential. And if you can land those double daggers with Q, drop the Ignite, it does a lot of damage, especially after you get some items, get some levels under your belt, can really chunk out that backline. And like you said, in the draft, Crow, Fisher don't really have a dedicated front line. They don't have necessarily a dedicated tank. We're probably going to be seeing Yayo get a bit tanky on that Jace, but his sole purpose is definitely not going to be to defend that backline. He's definitely more scrappy than your average tanky Joe.
Oh, for sure. And nice little early warning trade. Wayna. Oh, man. I love the story of Wayna and Asylum. It's been really, really nice to see throughout the season. Or throughout the year even. And now it's culminating in this. Once again, nice dive on the Brabro, but there will be a knock-up available. Both barriers already burned.
Yup.
Oh, it'll go be like that. All right.
They just can't contain themselves. They got to keep scrapping. And, you know, good look there from Shogo and Rhino. They chunk out Brabro a decent amount. Shogo popping the pots as well.
They're back in it again.
Yep. Oh, my goodness. Can't stop, won't stop. As, curiously enough, both junglers pathing away from the bot lane. The lane that we are clearly seeing has the most action. And, you know, I can understand it for the side of Fisher. Brunes, you know, similar to game number 1, he wants to path to the lane that is going to give him the most priority to play with in case he gets invaded. And the threat of an invade is more, you know, possible this time around against a Nefiri than it was in game number 1 against a Vi. So we're just looking as the Gwen to, you know, full clear, make sure that we can get those items because we saw how effective it was in game number 1. The Gwen almost managed to make the win happen. But it's more of a question mark for the side of Keel as to why he's pathing up. There isn't a ton of lockdown from the Ambessa. Yayo is very slippery on the Jace in those early levels. A lot of movement speed that people usually don't factor in when pathing against a Jace. He's actually going to skip those camps. He's just going straight top lane.
He goes straight in. Yeah, straight in for the top lane. Okay. Keel, we know, loves to get things done early. He will be on a ward that he does not know of. Is now going to move away. So, I mean, Yayo, yeah. That's such a good ward to have. I mean, yes, Tri-Buck ward, generally a lot of people will put down more, but River ward does, you know, just generally dissuade or give you a lot of information to, you know, prevent surprise ganks like that. So very good job on him to have that staying away. Because I do think, yeah, this early game for Yayo will spell how, like, this mid-game carries on through as Brabro eats another chunk. Shogo on this Lucian. Very, very scary.
Very scary indeed. You can see Shogo and Rhino walking up toward the wave, really just trying to get any sort of excuse to trade with Brabro and Mejai. And Brunes potentially going to be spotted if he tries to run interference. You can see there's that ward in the tri-bush.
He is buffed up and drops very low. Brabro stays alive for just a moment as here comes Brunes. They are low. The cooldowns are there. Going to jump onto Shogo. Does dash away. Does have flash still available. Holding it to the last possible moment. Avoids a grand entrance, but he's going to get sniped and snipped. As Brunes will claim that first blood.
Yup. Beautifully played there from Brunes. The ward in the tri-bush just timed out, so Ole Miss's bot lane, they don't get any information that the Gwen is there. Shogo as well having to burn that flash. Meanwhile, Brabro gets to keep his. Mage as well gets to keep his. So Summoner is still there for the Fisher College bot lane. Means that it's going to be really hard if for these, next 5 minutes, unless there's a mistake, Shogo and Rhino, the punishment is not going to come through because all of those defenses are still there for the Zion Rakan.
Yep. Oh, Scylla playing a little bit of funny games, going through the entire emote wheel. If anything, lands the charm too, get a little extra damage. Man, but going back to this bot lane, like you said, this 2v2 does get scarier now with those summoner spell differentials. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Stry maybe danced a little bad in the beat of a different drum, because diving directly into tower range doesn't really help you out there. Burns a flash and dies anyway. Yayo feeling real good about that.
Yeah, so, crucial summoners being burned on the members of Ole Miss here at this early game. Shogo getting his burned earlier from that bot lane play. Now, like you said, Stray having to burn his. Lena's going in. No 6 on the Silas, though.
Yeah, still not 6 yet. No way to steal. Very wide charms to get off. A little bit of a warning. Keel is here too. Will be scattered out though with his vision. Just turned 6. Sold the Ari ultimate. Like I said, more mobility for the Silas can be very, very scary. As Rhino having to play a different type of game here. As Shogo's trying to run to regroup with the team. Dashes out 1, but the thing is he has more. Shogo still free firing on. He's not 6 either, so no ultimate for him to throw down. As they're just scrapping everywhere. Stry wants to try to get his 1v1 revenge.
Stray doesn't have R.
It's not going to happen. There's no ultimate available, no flash either, as he has to run back to the safety of his tower. Will do so for now. Oh, Miss, need to calm it down. Pump the brakes just a moment, because Fisher will make you pay for it in an instant as Keel is sided out. Could be a little 3v3. No, I lied. It's a 3v4. There are more members arriving. Can Keel get out? He's running for the hills. Can't survive for a moment longer. But
the
he'll eventually fall. Heals down. But the Feat of Warfare goes over because Reyna gets that kill. And none are returned from Old Miss onto Fisher. So they're going to get the kill onto the jungler, onto Keel. And looks to get these grubs too, unless, Rhino's trying to lead the charge, but he is only just a boy with the running right in arms of Stray. He dashes in. The step is good. The Q's there as well with the W, but the health bars are not falling for Fisher fast enough. Eventually, we'll get the kill on the Brunus. This could be the return. No, Yayo in the shock form will fire some blasts. Asylum manages to track down Barbaro. There's a double for Stry, but there's a double for Yayo, who has nowhere to run, nowhere to go. Fight to the last breath indeed. Oh my goodness.
Yup, that was a scrappy fight there in the early game, and it was over the grubs, but Fisher...
All for some grub.
They lose the grubs, and Ole Miss as well going to claim 2. Fisher just going to get the 1. It's not the end of the world, though. Yayo in particular getting a bunch of kills there. 3-1 now on the Jace, but even that is, a little bit of a somber sentence, because Stray got a ton of resources. 3 kills now onto the Mbessa, as initially the look is really good. They capitalize off of Keel not being able to, go over that wall, doesn't have the flash. They take down the dog. The heal forces a flash out of Wayna, so that defensive summoner spell is gone. But back onto live, there's actually a brief little fight.
Keel's dead again. It's all right.
Non-stop action, yep. But continuing, it feels like Fisher really overstayed there. They got taken down. I feel like after you get the 1 grub, you just attempt to leave, because that Stray is on the side lane. This Ambessa is back. Asila as well is recalling with a bunch of resources. Speaking of fighting,
look, he said, "Who's 3-1 is stronger, yours or mine?" Stry jumping in, staying up in front. Back dashes in. Oh my goodness. That's how you put in a lot of time on a champ. Knowing to use the bonus movement abilities. Drakehound step allows him to get in closer and finish off that kill. I guess Stray's 3-1 was better than Yayo's 3-1 in that case.
And the items were better. He had that Eclipse going in, and Yayo really not able to fight back there. So far, Ole Miss doing a really good job at kind of recovering what was initially looking like a very dominant Fisher early game. As going back to that replay briefly, Yayo gets the double kill, but had no health bar, had no mana, nowhere to go like you said. And it's just been a very scrappy, very even game so far. Ole Miss, about a 1,000 gold lead. We're going to have to see what that can amount to, as Yayo is potentially getting dove.
Woo-wee, he's charging the pursuit. They want to go in for this. Yayo staying alive, dodging out as much as they can. They keep trading the tower aggro back and forth very, very proficiently.
Yep.
Okay. Comes out on top again, but in the bot lane, there's still another fight between the two mid laners who have rotated down. A little bit of a lane swap going through. Man, not even 10 minutes, and Weir's trapping like crazy. I love it. I love it. That's these two teams, man. The blood feud between Fisher and Ole Miss. Proving to be just that this game.
Absolutely, and I'm a little bit disappointed that that dive on top lane didn't result in Keel getting the kill, because this Nefiri very much so needs gold in order to function later in the line. And Nefiri is not a champion that particularly scales very well and is very high economy reliant as Wayna.
Ooh, trying to dodge through everything. No cooldowns available. Just got the ult, but you're not going to be able to get away.
Wow.
I stand corrected. Ay, caramba, Wayna. Not trying to follow through on that. Will allow them to live for just a moment, but man, that was so close.
And I think Asila just got enough mana to cast the Spirit Rush there,
so.
and you already know that,
so.
you know, if you got like a live Asila reaction, he was spam clicking that ult key, trying to get away. It amounts to him, you know, living to fight another day. The Ahri will get out, but the dragon will not.
Yep, first dragon of the game, gonna be going over to Fisher here. Gonna take that down. Now remember, the dragon stacking was such a key for Ole Miss last game, to make sure, you know, that brawling competition they have was able to stay in the game as long as they could. Not opting to try to go for an early dragon like they were allows it to go over to Fisher. But something just to keep tabs on for the rest of this game to see if that does, you know, inform the rest of this game number 2 as... Oh, okay! Sai wants to go in. Stays in front of Yayo, making sure he can't get away. We do have backup in the form of Magi jumping in too. Charm is there. Knockup is there. Health bar dropping low, but remember, this Eclipse is working overtime. Here comes the rest of the squad. Oh, that's a pursuit. Keel gets the kill. And now will be the call to back off from Fisher as they say, bro, you're on your own. We can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, that kill was just delivered to Keel on a silver platter. And, you know, dogs like it like that. You know, you put it in the wet food. They get their head in the way as you try to put it in, but Keel was... ready to go. He eats that up. He gets that gold on the Nefiri, finally getting some resources on this very high economy jungle pick. And because Asila is so present in top lane, it does open up those grubs.
Oh, wow. What a great abduct. Just jumping straight into it, stealing, calling, firing off some savvy bullets of his own. But man, now the grubs looking to be traded here by Ole Miss to grab those away. Trying to reset the map state a little bit as there is pushing on top and bot for Ole Miss. Fisher looking to regain some ground in some form or fashion. What are the answers to the questions that they seek?
And I really like the adaptation from Ole Miss so far in this series. You know, we talk about Fisher a lot before we got into any of the games, and we said these guys absolutely love to go for these grubs. They go for the top side objective, they steamroll early to mid, and then they carry that over in toward the later game. And so far, Ole Miss have been very on top of covering that topside objective, willing to fight at every available opportunity. And even when it's not pretty, they have been successful in delaying that objective to going the way of Fisher. And you can see those are having ripples in gameplay in real time. Fisher are just not as effective as they would like to be on these side lanes.
Yeah, you're seeing that as a full rotation. The mid lane is your top lane or bot lane. I love that. You do get the first brick going the way of Ole Miss. They have the feat of warfare. They have the feat of... I don't remember what that one is. I'm so sorry. But they take out the first tower as well.
Taking.
Yeah.
I actually, well, it's funny because I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of like tower taking or tower destroying, because it's feat of warfare for the kills and then feat of dragon slaying for the objective. So I think Riot just abandoned all creativity. And you know, just trying to keep up with the theme, all thematic consistency when it came to naming the other two ways you can get feats of strength.
Yeah, makes it a little bit easier, I suppose. But whatever, the feats are going over to Ole Miss. They are trying to knock down this last outer tower. Plating has fallen, come down a little bit easier. But just a little bit of a slower, more controlled pace from Ole Miss here in game number 2. Nowhere near as frantic and crazy in this, you know, pre-20 minutes. It's like that 10 to 20 minute mark is really where we saw a lot of the kills from game number 1 really start to just pile up. We're not really seeing the case here for Ole Miss. They're just getting a lot more information, a lot more vision, and formulating plots for their next move.
Absolutely, and it feels like, you know, battle lines have been drawn. Fisher, though, oh, hang on, 3v1.
Okay,
Nope.
Right. He gets out. Yeah.
Stray is singing along.
So cheeky.
Yep.
Let's see if Shogo can do the same here, as he's going onto it. This 2v2 been going at each other's throats all series.
Yep. You can see, because of, you know, all of the members of Fisher showing on that top side, Ole Miss are really just now able to gain control around this bot side river and this mid lane. They're really going to work on controlling this mid lane wave for the next 45 seconds. This would be Fisher's second dragon, so, you know, if the conditions are bad for Ole Miss, it's not the end of the world if they give over 2 dragons. But as we saw in game number 1, as we learned in game number 1, 3 is really where you got to draw the line and start worrying. So far, Ole Miss's conditions have been, you know, very good. They don't have to force anything too big. They're scaling on up 5-1 on Stray, and then Asila as well, 2-0, has 5 Magi stacks as well on the Ahri. So you were talking about Fisher scaling up a little bit, Crow, but Ole Miss are doing the same. They are slowly but surely getting these solo lanes in a position where they can be unstoppable.
Yep, and now this Inferno Drake will spawn here. Brunis does not see. Here comes the Sai. Jumping in. Okay, Sila gets the charm. Nothing too much more.
Yeah, this feels like a really difficult objective for Fisher to fight, because Yayo does not have teleport. Stray does, so the numbers advantage favors Ole Miss. So even if you want to contest, you won't have the men to do so.
They're going on Yayo right now in the top lane, trying to get him chunked out. They burned that teleport we were talking about. Wayna does it, but Keel. Oh no, Keel's caught. Keel's dead. Oh man, and the rest of the team is just now getting there. Brunis has his number once again. They will take the body, wrap it in cloth, and deliver it too. It's jumping in now. Silent wants to land a charm on somebody, can't get anything done, but that's the jungler for Ole Miss down once again near dragon spawn.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to be able to fight for the second drag, Quacks.
They might be able to. I mean, Stray is still on that top side, is going back, could teleport in potentially, but Shogo, maybe the next target.
They're looking for him. Try to clear out this mid wave, though. Yeah, I mean, you see Brunis has already started the dragon by himself, just soloing it out. Gwen at this level definitely can do that pretty easily. If the rest of the team goes down, yeah, Ole Miss, they don't even want to try to, you know, risk throwing away this lead that they've accrued for themselves for 1 dragon. They're at 2, so now everyone after I expect for them to fight for. Just because it's, oh man, and it's a mountain rift. Yeah, they fighting for everything after this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one way that you can do that is by, you know, threatening with the Herald. So I do think that Ole Miss are probably going to be eyeing that topside objective and maybe using it as a distraction of sorts for Fisher to take down, and that'll give Ole Miss some time to go down, gain river control, because, yeah, like you said, Mountain Dragon, I think, really ups the importance of being able to get that bot side neutral. If you can't, then Fisher are going to be eating significantly better than they are now, and they're already starting to be on the come up. That kill onto Keel, giving it over to Brunis. This Gwen is 3-1, approaching that 2-item breakpoint. So it's really up to Ole Miss to contain that win condition and, you know, deny any other important neutrals that Fisher could be looking for.
Yep, it's, oh no, Keel once again caught out, but they're scrapping, they fighting. The double fight, here comes Stray, jumps in, oh, okay, Bravo is able to flash out. That was about to be an axe to the face.
Yeah.
Manages to get away for a moment. Ooh, man, I mean, just like that, nope. Surprisingly, for the first time in a long time, nobody died.
Yep, it is a Cold War for now. The only casualty likely going to be this Herald. Really good reaction there from Brunis as well. I believe it was Stray trying to look for the public execution onto the Gwen, but the Hallowed Mist was there to deny that. So the Gwen lives to fight another day. The Herald, though, does not, and now it's up to Ole Miss on how they want to use this.
The culling, not quite enough to take him out. Shogo still fishing for his first kill.
We do have a pause on my end temporarily, so game is a bit frozen. Gonna go back to our beautiful faces, but yeah, a little bit of a break from all the action, bit of a 15 from your work, if you will. So far, you know, we were saying that Ole Miss were really in the driver's seat, but like game number 1, Fisher are, you know, holding fast, holding strong, like what Ole Miss did in game number 1. Ole Miss managed to sort of weather that storm, look for their opportunity. Fisher are sort of, I think, adopting a similar, you know, mentality, a similar game strategy where they're just picking and choosing their fights. They know they have a lot of scaling on their side, and having those 2 dragons certainly going to help out in that.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the other things we really want to look at is like Shogo's not necessarily having as near as much impact in this game as he was in game number 1, right? He's been getting close, dealing a few hits, but then immediately getting chunked and having to get out. I mean, I think he's what, 0-2 currently, like 2-5 or so. So like not having near as much impact as he was on the Yasuo, and Keel keeps getting caught, has died a few times for it, but overall is creating these weird like instances of forcing Fisher to have to fight. You know, saying like, hey, if I'm here, you're either going to come and get me and kill me or come and get me and lose like 3 people. And we've seen that multiple times. We saw it in top side and river for Grubs. We saw that near bot side near the mid lane fight as well. It's just Keel isn't having near as much fun as he was on the Vi, but still drawing in energy, drawing in as much pressure as he can, and allowing Stray here on the Zambessa, just hey, go crazy, man. He's like, you want some more kills? Jump in on it, and it's doing a lot for them as a Yayo on this Jace is trying to match him, as we do have a return back to game. And in that Fracar, apparently Shogo got 2 kills. Okay.
Whoa, wait, hang on. Yeah, it's 4 down actually for Fisher across the map. Ole Miss don't lose any. We missed something.
We lost 3 minutes apparently. We lost 3 minutes apparently.
Yeah, and you know, kind of going back to Shogo, even before he got those 2 kills, this Lucian, you know, didn't necessarily have the prettiest of score lines, but that Essence Reaver is really good as a first component, and especially against a team that, like we said so many times, doesn't have necessarily a defined tank. You are able to deal a lot more damage. We saw how much damage that culling alone did to Brabro. And Brabro, I feel like he is probably the one. If we're talking about ADCs that aren't having a good time and aren't having a ton of impact on the game, I definitely feel like the Xayah fits that bill a little bit more. So it's going to be up to Fisher on whether or not they really want to heavily index into, you know, feeding this Gwen a bit more resources to be that monster late game carry, or if they want to try and leave some scraps to the Xayah, because the Xayah could use a bit of bird feeding at the current moment, just, you know, sitting on that wooden perch and having a few seeds that are so generously gifted to the people in the neighborhood.
Quacks, what the hell happened? Stray is 6-1. It's actually insane. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, Bravo's definitely not having a fun time. This lovers duo, this bot lane of Xayah Rakan, usually so consistent and at times very, very overpowered. It's just not doing it for Fisher this series. It's sitting at a combined 0-5. Just have not been, you know, getting any results for the team, and Ole Miss gladly taking that one down. As first dragon for them looks to be on the table, is I don't believe Fisher even want to try to contest for this.
No, they don't. I mean, they don't have their win cons at crucial breakpoints to be able to fight in the late game. You just saw how much damage Stray managed to do to Wayna in just that brief little interaction. Now let's see what happens in the extended fight.
Well, Wayna managed to survive as there goes the jump in. Asylum Babe, that wasn't the right call. They could pay for it in blood as Brutus grabs that kill, but they're still fighting onto it. Here comes Shogo, calling, doing so much damage as he dashes forward, trying to get his man. Wants to take a few more down. But the recall from Brabro is good. Keels, though, still wanting to jump forward, sending out the dogs. Let them bark. They are bleeding down, but not burning fast enough. Keel jumps over the side, though. He wants to finish it off. He might be in deadly territory. Manages to get back over the fence. What the dog doing, man? Chill out for a moment.
What is the dog doing? Indeed, Crow. As Ole Miss, you know, it's not much. It's a 1-for-1, but you know, despite the even trade, they managed to push that mid wave. They break down mid lane as well. So we've got double inhibitors exposed rather. Fisher need to be very careful about walking up.
Oh my god.
Show him, Shogo.
IEER working in overtime here. Jesus, Wayna just got back onto the map and he's already back in base. Oh no. It's about to become the Shogo show real fast if they do not shut this man down.
Absolutely, he's getting super close to that third item. You can see the last whisper is in the inventory. Is Keel.
He's looking for it. Oh no, he's going.
He has ult.
He has ult, has the full pack of dogs, sending them all in. Perfect time for a knock-up, though, but Shogo manages to slay it at the end. The bleed is good. The damage is better. That's a double for the dogs. Now this looking to be, maybe they can finish off of this. I do see a wave in the bot side.
Maybe.
Inhibitors are exposed. 3 members from Fisher are down. Ole Miss are really trying to stamp this in, go up 2-0 in this series. Maybe Yayo can be the hero here. Maybe Brutus can be the hero as well. They're jumping in onto him. They have him down. He is stuck, but there's a little bit of a pushback from Yayo, getting as much work done as he can, but he is falling fast. The health bars are draining. Shogo is just damn near unstoppable. The infallible himself, him and Rhino, doing so much work here. The Nexus is falling. Be damned are the mans of Fisher. They want it all, and they will take it 21-10 here. Ole Miss going up 2-0.
And 25 minutes, like a pre-30 dominating win there for Ole Miss. This series, Ole Miss were not about that series 2 weeks ago. They want revenge, and they are making Fisher pay for it in blood, like you said, Crow. Such a amazing game, again, coming out from Shogo and Stray as well on that Ambessa, taking names left, right, and center. It was an amazing game 2 for the Land Sharks, and they only have one more win, Crow, until they can crown themselves the 2-time NECC champions, and they are looking forward to that title, I would assume. And now Fisher backs against the wall. What are they going to do? How are they going to adapt? We talked so much at the beginning of this broadcast, Crow, about how Wayna would be the centralized carry, how he would be the ace in the hole against Ole Miss, and he has really not been able to be activated on the map whatsoever. There has been so many members of Ole Miss running interference in that mid lane matchup, interfering with Wayna's time in the laning phase, making it so difficult for him to hit the ground running. What are they going to do to change that? That is the biggest question on my mind looking forward.
It was so crazy. I truly believe the turning point for this match happened so early on. That spelled the complexion of this game. Was that grub fight early when,
yes.
I mean, like that entire 5v5 that happened when Keel, it started with Keel getting caught out and it just kept going from there. It really did wind up spelling the fact that Stray was just going to go nuclear. I said it when he picked the Ambessa in draft. I'm like, okay, they really want to keep fighting. They it's way different from the Rumble that he had last game. If anything, he showed up even more in this one, allowing him to be the carry, and Wayna just was not able to keep up because Shogo completely went even and just went on a tear, and we saw it. So when the mid can't carry, and your 80, your marksmen aren't there. It's just,
and it was worse for them in game 2, arguably, because they ran back the Gwen. You know, what worked in game number 1, what almost got them the win in game number 1, and the Gwen did not have nearly as much impact the second time around. It definitely felt like that Nefiri curveball, not necessarily curveball, fastball, I should say, going at 100 miles per hour, dashing at your members of Fisher, was really effective. So I like what we're seeing from Ole Miss. Fisher, though, gotta find some way to turn it around.
I'm looking at this gold graph, and that's actually insane. Oh, jeez. Okay. Ole Miss, currently 2-0. Fisher, you got one more shot to turn this around. We'll see what they can do. Send it to a quick break when we get back, though. Maybe the decisive game of the series?
Maybe.
We're going to start a reverse sweep. You know? We'll have to see when we get back with more NECC Grand Finals here for League of Legends.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Hey, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Has a
ago.
dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Welcome back. It's grand finals. You know what it is. Fisher down 0-2 right now. Ole Miss, them boys striking back, striking hard. Currently, that's the name of the game is fight, and it's working.
It absolutely is. I mean, Ole Miss, you know, the fights have been to mixed result, I feel. Like Fisher, specifically in that first game, were winning out on a lot of those exchanges. And Ole Miss definitely kind of turning and being on the front end of a lot of those fights, winning out on a lot of those exchanges. But I do have to say, Ole Miss have been much, much better at converting a lot of those wins into game-winning objectives and to just overall extending the map when it comes to winning those fights. It feels like every time they win out on an exchange, they take a little bit of the map with them. They take something else that makes a good situation better for them in the long run. Meanwhile, Fisher, whether it be from timers, whether it be from macro, whether it be from simple warding, it feels like they have never been able to extend their leads even after winning a fight. I look at that grub exchange in game number 2 where they got the pick on Tequila, but they kept fighting, and then at the end of all of that, it was Ole Miss walking away victorious. Those respawns that come in, they got the 2 grubs, and you know what was initially a horrible fight for the Land Sharks turned into a potentially game-turning around fight for them that allowed them to extend that lead further.
Yeah, and that's kind of been, you know, the tale of the tape. Ole Miss wants to fight you, and you have 2 choices: fight or die. Disengage.
Yeah.
The disengages haven't really been an option for Fisher, I feel. They've tried to get away. You know, they've tried to get some fights and get away, and then, oh no, super deep TP flank that no one could have saw coming. It's just there, or it's like someone just somehow, some way, strays there just in the back line staring at you menacingly. Like Shogo just does a random deep dive as a marksman that he should not be able to do, and they just get away. And I mean, it's really going to come down to how is Fisher going to be able to score these fights early, keep that lead, and not, you know, run into these big old 5-man tag matches where they just go under, you know? So that is something to see, that now they have to do a reverse sweep. They have to get 3 in a row from here on out. There's no more room for error, and as we're getting into game number 3, it is the same sides as game number 2. So, I mean, hey, back to draft, we're going to inform how that's going to inform everything.
And I mean, realistically, you know, we were talking about the possibilities for Fisher going into draft for game number 3 before we sent it to a break, Crow, and we were a little bit stumped, admittedly, because it feels like, you know, you went back to the drawing board in game 2, you gave Wayne, in particular, a champion that he was more comfortable with in the Silas. You gave the Gwen back to Brunis. The biggest proponent of that close game in game number 1 was Return. They got the salty run back there in game number 2, but it had not nearly as much of an effect in that second game. So now the question becomes, what are you as Fisher going to do to turn it around? Brabro, in particular, has been significantly stifled, not just in the game and how much he's been bullied by Shogo at every single facet and every single stage of every single game, but also the champion pools from the side of Fisher. Brabro has been pinched the most out of, I would say, anybody on that roster, and they've really been capitalizing off of that bot lane, and just the fact that Shogo, when it comes down to it, can really hands diff, it seems like, that 2v2.
Hands diff indeed. Oh my goodness. You know that gif of like from Ghost in the Shell where it's like the person diping and their hand splits in like 80 different like other fingers? That's how Shogo was playing. It's every single time, and you're just like, that is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, he doesn't have a champ pool. He just has the champion select screen. He can pick whatever. So we really do need to see Brabro step up, get off. I have to say, get off of this Zyra duo, pick something else into it if they can, because he's just not having an impact in any of these fights the entirety of the game. As we see immediately, the Aurora's going to be banned out for Ole Miss here. But yeah, I just need to see the bot lane from Fisher actually do something, because they cannot rely on the top half of the map right now.
They can't rely on their top half of the map. I mean, Fisher has always been a top-side-oriented team, but it doesn't matter when the bot lane of the enemy team is constantly running you over, causing problems. I mean, even when Shogo was 0-2 on that Lucian, he was still causing problems. I feel like that should speak to the effectiveness and the efficiency that Shogo plays at just as a player. Everyone knows how good he is, and it feels like Fisher have not been paying him the respect that he deserves. It feels like they have really been eyeing that jungle and subjugating Keel in particular. Now, you know, same bands coming through here from Fisher. Zyra banned away, Ezreal banned away, and I have to think that, you know, unless something has changed, maybe if they really hated that Nefiri, we are going to be seeing, you know, a copy and paste of Game 2's bans. I
think so, unfortunately. Man, this is so difficult for Fisher now. I mean, you have to go, like, what are we going to be able to get, you know, in our belt, they're actually going to ban out the Corki because they just don't want Ole Miss to, try and pick that away. They don't want them to get that. So no Silas either, the thing that was going very good for Wayna. And now we're just like, okay, first pick Nefiri again. Yes, they will go ahead and do that. So first pick Nefiri again, lock that down. I mean, Keel didn't have like the most spectacular game on it, but the things he was doing on it led to spectacular things for his team.
Absolutely. And it also pinches, I think, Fisher into making a choice and probably having to run that Gwen back, because you run the risk, if you don't pick it now, of giving that over to Ole Miss and having a Nefiri plus a Gwen. That feels like the doomsday plotline here for Fisher, but they are going to face that doomsday plotline in stride. They're going to lock down that Jace like they did in game number 2, and then pair it up with the Vi. So they're taking away a Keel pick, but Keel already drafted himself, so that is interesting. Stray, though, bringing out the big gun. Scion has been, I would say, rising in popularity, particularly on this patch, has been really strong, has a ton of lockdowns, so now I think this opens up for that lockdown train to keep coming here, Crow.
I think it's interesting because, I want to say in Pro, Scion has been kind of annoying. I know Bwippo talked about it at the beginning of the year, just a very solid pick. Heartsteel plus Soul Furnace, you're just getting massive amounts of HP for no reason, and you can just do whatever you want. But interesting that they're picking it out here, considering on how active Stray has been on the Rumble and the Mbessa last game, so now they're putting them on a more passive pick, I guess you could say. But this is really interesting because, I wanted to see Brunis get on the Vi since game number 1. Keel had a wonderful game on it. Now we're seeing, we're going to see Brunis on it to see if he can have that same sort of effect. But now the mid lane is going to be real fun to watch with the Victor Rise.
Absolutely, but I honestly, when your back is against the wall like this, it kind of perplexes me as to why Wayna would go on to something like the Victor, who is a bit more, like you said, Crow, passive in the laning phase and not as active. And we've seen how active Wayna can be on champions like the Silas, so I feel like they're not setting him up as, well as I would like them to. But still, like you said, it's got the scaling. Jace and Victor are both very powerful solo lane champions that can, be played around with, especially with that Vi, that guaranteed lockdown. Like you said, they're two champions that can really make the most of that interaction. And now the question sort of becomes, what is Shogo going to play into this? The Xayah is still available. We saw that be sort of the quintessential counter pick to the Vi from Brabro in game number 1 when Keel was on it. And Brabro is actually going to just say, screw it, go on to the Jinx instead.
Hey, anything to get him off of Xayah Rakan duty, I'm okay with it. Look how pinched that marksman pool is.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. But this is going to give the onus for Ole Miss now to lock in the Aphelios Bard bot lane. The stars are ahead of us. It's all about some constellation shenanigans. And honestly, this is such an interesting composition from Ole Miss because the top half of this map is very much just going to charge at you, where it's you have a lot of space reserved for this bot side. So now for Fisher, locking in the Jinx Leona, this tells me they want to fight.
Yeah, this is a very, forward charge at the enemy team kind of comp that Fisher have drafted for themselves in game number 3. And I really like the read here, particularly from Ole Miss. I think the Bard is kind of an unsung hero, particularly against a lot of these engage comps. I think Bard does very well, and buying time, most importantly, because, Crow, picture a scenario where Jinx gets a reset, right? Or potentially Victor gets a reset on his ultimate, makes that Chaos Storm bigger. Now you have the opportunity as this Bard to throw down that Tempered Fate to, kind of stall out the timer that those resets have provided these champions like the Victor and the Jinx. And overall, I think gives your team a chance to get better positioning against this very forward heavy, frontal load damage comp that Fisher have drafted for themselves. So I like the Bard. I think the onus, though, is going to be on Rhino roaming, right? We've talked a lot about Shogo being, the star of the show from minute 1 until the Nexus explodes. This time around, the onus is going to be on Ole Miss getting push, Rhino roaming with Keel, and making this Daug feast in game number 3. So it's a bit of a different style from Ole Miss, but they have drafted accordingly, and I think have a bunch of pieces that can support that style.
I think it's going to be so funny that we're going to see Rhino walking Keel around. He's like, all right, let's go. You want to go for some walkies?
He just
You
needs
blood,
the leash.
You bloodthirsty little deck.
Is there a leash item in the game? Because I feel like Rhino is almost inclined to have to build that in this game, no? Or multiple of them, because Neferi is multiple dogs.
I guess Knight's Vow? Yeah, I guess Knight's Vow.
I guess, but you would need like 5
Not the machine's
Knight's
ain't in
Vow.
the game anymore, right?
No, it's not.
No,
but
yeah, that was
Knight's
close
Vow,
thinking
though,
about.
you would need like 5 Knight's Vows, because Neferi is
For
more than
each
just a
individual
big
dog?
Yeah, for each individual dog. It's gonna be like that, suburban Karen walking her dog, jogging
leash
with like
belt?
6 of them. Yeah, having a whole
no, you
like,
get the
Roman
leash belt.
empire of puppies. It's gonna be it certainly would be a sight to see. I hope we get to see it. That's what Ole Miss want to do. You leash around the Neferi as this bard. You make plays with the support jungle duo, and you just tear Fisher asunder before they can scale up.
Yep. Yeah, before they can scale up indeed, as we are into it here. Game number 3 between Ole Miss and Fisher. This is going to be so spicy. Maybe see some level 1s here, or are they just going to do the usual stack as 5, stare at each other from across the river?
I would imagine so. Level 1's not particularly like amazing for any one of these teams. Keel, though, I would say Keel has the opportunity, maybe if Stray and Asila, follow up with him, to get some early vision on this Vibe, just to be able to track where Brunus is. We're expecting Brunus to probably be, more active toward that bot side of the map, really feeding the Jinx in particular a lot of that gold. So I think even if Ole Miss don't get vision, they can anticipate at the very least the moves of the jungler for Fisher in these first few minutes.
For sure is Keel once again stepping forward. Ooh, get a few little hits. Okay. Showing Brunus, what's up, babes? You want to play? You want to tango? We can do this.
Yep. As no one is going to be dancing. It is all seriousness this game here, Crow. Everyone is completely and totally locked in. This is series point, and for Fisher, this could be a heartbreaking series. Down 0-3. There is that potential after they beat them a couple of weeks ago, but the reverse sweep has to start somewhere. It might start here.
Yep, they're already calling for it. Go to the broom closet. Bring me all the brooms. Then with the sweep to happen is... Oh, wait. Great stun by Rhino here on the Magi. He does have to just briskly walk away. No flash burn just yet. This Brabro can put up a lot more of a fight this time around up against Shogo, I believe, with this Jinx. Oh, wow. He took the Xenoblade in. Under tower, forcing the flash and Ignite out from Rhino here. Just exchange for the Ignite.
Yep. Good recognition of level up timers there from Magi in particular. Manages to, like you said, burn those summoners off of Rhino. We aren't expecting a ton of capitalization, though, to come off of that, because, like we said, we want to see the Bard, go to bigger and better places. He's going to be trying to roam with the Daug and make plays with Keel. But, the big thing that this stops specifically is Ole Miss's bot lane being able to get that push, right? They want to free up a lot of space for Bard to be able to roam, give safety over to Shogo before Rhino can really venture out onto Summoner's Rift. And they're not given the chance to get that.
No chances indeed. So now this mid lane. Now, at the top of the day, we did talk a lot about this mid lane matchup. We did talk about Wayna and Asila really, having this big brother, little brother situation going on, as Asila just has not really been able to get anything going in this game, as Sway just going to take a few hits. I mean, that's the nature of this matchup too, right? Like, Sion realistically is not going to do anything to Jace early on, but the mid lane matchup definitely can be skewed in favor of whomever just, has a really good jungle support coming up, as Brunus is on to Rhino, takes the portal out. Perfect timing from Keel as well. It was double buff. They want to go back in. Cooldowns are there.
Smite's coming up soon.
Oh, Smite up to as well. Charging the Q. Where's it going to land? Going to go forward. It's so good.
He won the mental game. It's over.
Yep.
3-0. Keel wins
GG's.
jungle because he got the crab.
Uh-oh. Might not be able to escape here. Yeah, he might be stuck. He does have flash. He flashed into the wall. Oh, no, he's dead. I think that was a little bit of a mental boom, as it might be 2 death as well. No. Asila does have to burn the flash at the end. Oh, my goodness. Bro. Can he? Nah, he's all right.
In a bit of trouble. I mean,
Nah,
yeah,
he's
this
good.
is tough.
He's chilling. Yeah, he's going to flash. Oh, dear.
What? No!
Yeah, okay,
No!
This is the perfect time to insert the JoJo meme. Just like somebody play Roundabout right now at that
literal will be right back moment where it like cuts to the like arrow at the bottom right hand corner.
Oh my God.
Somebody make a meme of
so
that
good.
because that is
It'll be so good.
best timed will be right back meme I have ever seen in my life. That is a crazy unlucky time to pause the game. But man, yeah, I mean, it is definitely a more of a back and forth early game here between these two teams. Keel having to burn that flash and being taken down all the while, definitely going to stifle the potential of the Daug.
Man, I really think that's might onto Scuttle just completely scrambled the brains of Keel and Asila. And
That's
it's really
so
just
lucky.
it's like, all right, whatever, I guess. But
I mean,
man,
he might have died, but Crow, you're forgetting that he got the crap. Mental warfare achieved. Mind equals controlled. He's gonna go back onto the map. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's saying, "Team, don't worry. I got the objective. We win the game. It doesn't matter if he gets the crab on the top side because I won the exchange. I won the fight for that neutral, and I have asserted dominance over my counterpart." But, you know, in all seriousness, as it looks like Bravo did indeed die in that tower dive, unfortunately, as we are back.
he was so close to living. He was so close to living.
Maybe.
We'll
never know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. Exactly. Yeah, we'll never know. Lost of time itself. But yeah, that's a good get back from Ole Miss in that regard. Now, Shogo has a nice juicy BF sword coming into lane here. Wait, oh, they swapped. They swapped.
Oh, yeah.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Bullied him so hard in bot lane. He said, let's go to the longer lane and do it again. This is a really good amount of tempo. Ole Miss down just by, about 0.5k at this point. Nothing too crazy. But still early on.
A lot of that probably attributed to the mid lane, as speaking of mid lane.
Oh dear. Okay, Asila. I talked about it. This, if you're doing mage for mage here, can be a little bit different, a little bit scary. The Rise pick, a little bit uncanny. I don't know if this is something that he generally plays on, but
He likes his mages, yeah.
Yeah, he likes his mages. He likes his control mages, and I mean there was still a decent amount left up on the menu, but this was the pick they wanted to go for. Double roaming, double, traversing with the ultimates as well. It's just how well can they get it done. It's a little bit different from the more damage-oriented ideas that Rhino likes to go for. Is surely he doesn't walk into the knockup. Oh my God, he does. Wow. Okay. Yeah, gonna take a little bit of a chunk there.
Again.
They are 6. They are 6. Yeah. So this could devolve into some shenanigans here in a moment. But I think Swai just wants to get a little bit more damage onto him and walk off.
Yeah. Now Keel. Green light to maybe look for a dive onto Bravo. The second one of the game. That barrier, though, is coming off of cooldown. It is off of cooldown now, so I think that's going to be enough for them to say, we don't have the dive. Also, with that rocket, the rocket's just clearing out the wave, so they're not going to go for it. I am actually, though, a little surprised that Fisher didn't go for the fight on those grubs because, you have that cease and desist available. You've got plenty of members on the top side. Wayna as well getting that solo kill on to Asila. I feel like should have been a green light for Fisher to go to that topside objective, but they let it go. They don't contest it, and now they might be looking for a fight as Brunis punching air, literally.
Oh man, nice little sidestep, Rhino. I love it. As Sway taking a big chunk now in return from Yayo. Oh man, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of action down here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Stray ideally wants, right? You can see he's got the Warden's Mail. He's just stacking up on those defenses. Isn't really looking to be the big bouncy Scion, Bomba classic gameplay here from the top laner of Ole Miss. He's just looking to, we've used this term a lot, but I feel like it still applies here. Weather the storm, make sure Jace doesn't get too out of control. And one way you can do that is by not feeding it kills. So we'll see. But speaking of kills,
Yup, they're burning all the ultimates. They want to try to get something done, but unfortunately, you can't really dive onto Wayno right now. It's too early and you're too far behind. Giving over another kill. Asila not having a good game. Down 0-2 here. Keel almost going the same way. Oh no, don't do it. Hey, chill out, chill out. Oh my god, Yale with the snipe.
You know,
Makes it so.
Keel cosplaying that kid from Arcade Season 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know, too soon, I say not soon enough. As it's 4 kills over to Fisher, and 3 of those are onto the hands of Wayna. You know, we had our doubts about how effective he would be on the Victor pick, but so far, you know, the coverage from Bruness and from Magi has been enough. He's now got that Rod of Ages 9.5 minutes into the game, Crow. The mid laner for Fisher, he is very, very Barack, if you will.
Yeah. Online and ready to go. Very, very scary scenario this early on. I mean, in both previous games, at this point, you know, we saw a lot more kills, namely more for Ole Miss in the column. Yeah, like I said, this composition they drafted for game number 3, the decisive game number 3, not really speaking to their strengths currently. And it's just not really going their way. There's just not been much grouped up team fighting action. It's been very isolated, smaller skirmishes, and those have been working in the favor of Fisher.
For sure, and I feel like you know, just looking a little bit more closely rather, at this mid lane matchup, it's so hard for Asila to really even contest these waves, because Wayna not only has the first item Roa is 2 levels up on his counterpart, but also has the upgraded laser. Right? It means that Rise has to be so much more careful with his positioning. It's way more consequential to get hit by that spell from the Victor now. And without those defenses that Roa provides you, without the stacking health that Rise really needs in order to thrive, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for Ole Miss to get priority in mid to get to get Asila in a lot of these fights. And so this should be a timer that Fisher really looked to play off of. You can see those grubs are coming up in about 10 seconds. They should belong to the red side.
Yep, and 447 on the Soul Furnace stacks for Sway right now. Decent amount of extra health going over. I mean, he's really trying to index. There is one saving grace is if Sway gets really, really beefy, the longer this game goes, the more difficult it should be for them to take him out. I mean, already sitting, you know, on the Warden's Mail, building and indexing higher, just so beefy when majority of the damage coming out from Fisher is going to be AD. But I would say that, you know, that would be like a major key right now if we're in fact that Wayna is the most fed member on Fisher currently. Sitting at a 3-0, but they want to take another dive here. There's the ultimate. Here's the setup. Don't mess this up. Solar Flare from Magi from downtown might save this dive.
Oh, the Flame Choppers.
Keel is really taking a lot of damage here. Flame Choppers as well. Brabro dissuading another dive here. Shogo, not really the set of guns he wants for that dive. I mean, Severum Crescendum is really nice, but it's just not going to be the case here. Another dive dissuaded. A lot was burned for that. Is the rocket going off for mid lane? Oh no, Asila, it's a target, and he will go down under his tower. No safety and solace under that structure at all, as it is a race to try to take first tower here. Yep. Hammering down as much as they can, but it turns into another fight. Rhino is caught. They might turn it back on the Magi. Might be able to take him out here.
Keel is here.
Here's Keel. Wants to dive over. Taking him very low, and yes, Shogo will claim that credit. The portal expired. Now they might be stuck here. But no, they're going on to Brabro. Great stun on the way out from Rhino to prevent Bruness from pushing any farther. No towers have fallen on either side.
I mean, Brabro manages to live at the end of the day. Manji does go down, but certainly the less consequential kill, or death rather, for Fisher of the 2 bot laners. Keel maybe looking for some revenge.
He flashed for it. He really wants to get this kill. He will get it. And oh no, is he getting away? Is he getting away? Hey, they said Nefario was nerfed. They said Nefario wasn't a problem anymore. What is this on my screen?
That was disgusting by Keel. So I take back what I said. You know, both bot laners end up going down in that exchange. One of the kills goes over to Nefiri as well. So it's win conditions being created for Ole Miss. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, so they're going to get a catch on the Rhino here. Tries to get away for a moment. Will be chased out by Brunus. Keel's just going to be like, yeah, there's no point in trying to save him from that. He will fall. Quick return. But yeah, both bot laners of Ole Miss going down there, giving kills over to 2 of their respective carries on the team from Ole Miss. Really, really good shades there as they keep trying to hammer down on to this mid lane tower. They want to take it down. Swag going to take a few hits. All that for a plate. Let's see if it was worth it, as he is going to be walked down here. And I don't think Swipe's getting out of this.
I mean, he does have ult, but the flashes are available for everybody.
Oh my god, it's a bait!
It was a bait!
Oh my god, it's a bait! It was the plan all along. Keel doesn't have flash.
Oh, wait, hang on, Brunus.
Brunus is here, and oh my god, he does so much damage off of that chunk.
Ooh.
They want to try and take out Keel. Doesn't have any mana, doesn't have flash, doesn't have anything to disengage, and he will not get away. It was a bait, but for whom? It looks to be the Fisher 2 to get some more onto it. Swide might go down here, going under tower to dissuade the chase, but he's so low. If he can get a knock up here, it'd be great. Not going to happen. Another kill for Wayna, 5-0-1.
Yep, 5-0-1, 5 stacks on the row. The mid laner of Fisher continues to be dominant in this game as Brabro.
Oh no! Oh no! The ultimate for Bard is great. Rhino so fucked with those. A TP was also used from Asylum to try and get something else on it, but Fisher fighting the kills, Quacks. Now it's starting to get scary.
It certainly is starting to get scary, but, you know, while the win condition is being accelerated on the side of Fisher, that bot lane of Ole Miss, you cannot ever count them out, as we are going to get a brief little replay on the outplay in top, and Yayo does a really good job, I think, of, you know, making time for Brunus to enter in this fight. He dies a little bit too soon as we're back to live, and Shogo is just dead. The win condition for Ole Miss is down.
Oh, what were you doing, Blood? Unfortunately, drops immediately. I mean, he's a Felios. He's going to pop like a balloon. It just happens. And now, this is Dragon number 2 going the way of Fisher. No way Ole Miss gets to contest this. And let's begin on the win conditions for Fisher. 2-0-6 on Brunus. 5-0-1 on Wayna. That's a scary, scary duo to be doing so much damage here at this 15-minute mark. And they can continue on ramping us up. And could force us to a game number 4.
And this is, you know, what we expected from Fisher going into this series. We said their top side really was the stars of the show. That mid-jungle of Bruness and Wayna caused and wreaked so much havoc onto Ole Miss a couple of weeks ago when they played in that first best of 5. And we didn't get to see it for game number 1. We didn't get to see it for game number 2. But game number 3, we're seeing shades of that return. As we're going to go back, see exactly what happened with Shogo. And yeah, I mean, you said it best, Crow. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Easy pickings there for Fisher as Ole Miss actually get the Herald.
Oh my goodness, back to another fight immediately. Oh, he's stunned, he's stunned.
Oh.
The Chaos Storm? What? Okay, great body block by Keel. But Sway, TP's in the 3. This could be very good for them. Lands a knock up on the Q. Rhino's still here. Want to support the rest of the team. Ole Miss can win this fight. Here comes Brabro, though. Gets one good reset, but there's a shutdown in return. Shogo, Brabro, who can do more DPS, and it will go the way of Brabro as they do get those kills in and the tower on top of it. Do they want to continue this fight? Shogo says yes, he is stepping up. The rest of his team has gone away, but no, here's Keel. Man, Wayna just hurt so much on this Victor here. 2 completed items, 17 minutes in, chunking for massive amounts of damage. So that's all going to be it for now.
And Brabro smartly, you know, not continuing the fight with his mid lane and support. He's just going straight mid lane. He's going to take the turret. He got a double kill. He wants more gold.
What's a TP? Okay. He's going to be running straight into the arms of Rhino, who does slow him. Hasn't burned the Q just yet. Great stun off of it. Asylum needs to make something happen here. He's giving a run around in the wrong direction. Does he burn the flash? He failed! Oh dear! Oh no, it's gonna be okay though. It's all
fine.
good. It's all good.
It's fine. It's fine.
No need to break the glass. No emergency just yet. Oh my goodness. They get their man, but at what cost? Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, that was a lot of resources expended by Ole Miss, and Brabro didn't burn anything. He still has flash, still has barrier, and now Shogo might be left to the wolves.
Yep. A little too far forward for his own good. Wayna reaching unstoppable levels here, most certainly taking down Shogo. Oh my goodness.
And I mean, it's a dominant, you know, first 18.5 minutes here from Fisher And I think really the big thing that has allowed them to catapult this game in their control is not just, especially in recent minutes, is not just the fact that Wayna is almost 3 items on this Victor at 18.5 minutes, but it's also that Brabro getting that double kill. We were really, interested to see how this Jinx would function in what has otherwise been a very lackluster series from the AD carry of Fisher College. And so far, he has been doing really, really well. He got that double kill, immediately went to the mid lane, took down that turret, died for it, but still has maintained his summoner spells. That defensiveness is still there for him. And I mean, Ole Miss, it feels like their win condition was, Shogo for the longest time, but in the past 5 to 7 minutes, he has been getting knocked down, slapped around by Fisher, who are just constantly finding these angles.
So many angles have been found, man. I damn near failed geometry, but these guys are making me a believer. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like what we expected to see from Fisher. This looks like the Fisher that, took Ole Miss to 5 games, won that series. Wayna has been unleashed in this game. The quintessential carry of Fisher Esports is looking mighty scary in this game. And he's not the only one. It feels like Fisher have so many other, sort of secondary carries in good conditions. Brabro is eating good, as this Jinx. Brunes, like we said so many times, has 2 items on the Vi. Even Yayo now has that Muramana complete. So these item breakpoints are coming through from Fisher, and they really have the ability to just dictate the map. They're on the Otacon, and they're telling Ole Miss, hey, come challenge us, come fight us.
It's about a half right now. They could try to fight this. Should they want to try to challenge it? They're dropping down. Keel is there. Oh, baby, you forgot there's a Bard on their side, and they will try to start this fight off, but I don't know if they really want this fight, big fella. The Rift Herald is there for some reason. Kills Swain's Magi for some reason. There are so many bodies on the screen. It's a total
they got Asylum.
Asylum falls once again, and that was a great shock blast as well. There goes Bruna's going forward again. Great knockout. Oh my god, he's jumping in. Keel gets a reset. He sends a pack of dogs to get 1 before he falls. Unfortunately, Wayna is just too damn strong. At the end of the day, it's a 2 for 2. Resets all over the map. Oh my goodness. The bodies falling everywhere. It's absolute chaos. And it's all even at the end of the day.
Bodies falling everywhere, like you said, Crow, and the ones that are still there are limping, bleeding, bruised, and battered. But the Otacon still stays on the map, and that has to be a big win there for Ole Miss. They stop the train for the time being, as we're going to go into a replay. Really good target selection coming out here from Ole Miss. They burst down Magi, but then Asyla getting a little too hasty, takes the bar portal, gets just immediately knocked on down. The real MVP of this fight is the Otacon. Look at how much damage it's doing throughout this entire exchange.
I'm telling you, the secret
Look at that
6-man. The
We're
resistance
back.
being shredded. Does Keel get it? He does! He gets it and he steals it, keeping it alive for a moment, but the fight is still back on. He has to back out of the fight. He is chunked super low, focusing back onto the river bush. Magi jumps in again. Leona has only one way to go, and that is forward, and Asyla's popped one more time. Cannot even get a Q off. Sway will eat a bunch of this damage. The Chaos Storm is growing larger and larger. Wayna is God to these non-believers of Ole Miss, and they are trying to fight through it all. Wayna does a bunch of damage on the backside in zombie form, but that is 2 quick kills gathered once again for Fisher. The objective was taken, but the bodies were left behind as a penance for Ole Miss's sins.
And this is kind of reminiscent of what we saw in game number 1 here, Crow. It was Fisher winning out on a majority of these exchanges. But Ole Miss, crucially, when it comes down to it, when Keel needs to land the smite fights, Keel does not miss. So they have managed to steal away and delay 2 objectives over the past couple of minutes. And the question kind of is this going to be enough time? Is this going to be enough space that Ole Miss have bought themselves in order to, get Shogo to that 3-item breakpoint, to get Keel to a position where he can carry in a lot of these fights? And I think it's a tough say, but so far it still feels like, despite all of this, Fisher are very much in control of the game. You can see how much presence they have on that bot side river, just wanting to take down this Otacon.
Rhino! He lives.
Not even close. Not even close, baby.
Oh, they're still going in. Brutus is charging that Q. So terrifying. I mean, the biggest thing that Ole Miss have to do is stop the bleeding, patch up this hemorrhage that is Asila in the mid lane. Oh no, Keel might be caught out here. Does has to get away, but he's tagged. He's tagged and bagged. Oh man. Will fall in this, and I think they want to go back to this Otacon here. Yeah, there are pings onto it. I don't think there's any way for Ole Miss to stop it here. Swai is down there. He's in a precarious situation. Not really calling for any reinforcements. He does want to stop the back here. He's just gonna a cheeky little backstop. But yeah, they will lose his Otacon here because I just don't think they're gonna really try to contest this. There's no backup available for Swai. He's just trying to buy as much time as he can. They do stop it here as they're gonna try and get another kill.
Run, Zion. Ooh, the drifting.
Okay.
It resets as well. They're buying so much time. This is exactly what Ole Miss have been doing over the past 5 minutes. They're gonna get the top lane tower. It's not much, but it's more gold into their pocket.
And again, Sway just being the scion that he needs to be, just buying time for the squad to do whatever they want. The Otacon will go the way of Fisher. And Sway will finally fall, but he did, in fact, buy a lot of time for his team.
Yeah.
Getting that top tower, you know, adding another area of influence in that top lane for Ole Miss to play out of, keep that push going. But I do think the scaling is starting to really favor more for Fisher here. This Victor is so scary to deal with. This Jinx is becoming scary to deal with.
Oh boy, all right.
Try this. There's
so
many members of Ole Miss down here. This could either shut down. It needs to go over to either Keel or to Ursila, and unfortunately, the credit goes to Rhino.
No! I'm so sad. Because that seemed like such a free kill. I mean, Wayna, you said it, Crow. He had nowhere to go. He had flash, but it wouldn't have mattered even if he had used it. I definitely agree. I think Keel getting that kill could have turned this game a new leaf. Hang on.
There's another chance for it to happen. Not over, and there's the shutdown going over to Asila. That's a much needed goal in his pocket. Rhino is so good with these damn Bard ultimates, setting up his team for success, setting up Ole Miss for some multi-kills and some towers and some structures. They're knocking on the front door. They are barging in. They get a full ace. That is the pace in destruction. This might be it. That timers are very long. It's only Wayna coming up on to the board. He is very healthy. Sway is the big boy, and he's taking a lot of hits for his team. There goes Nexus Tower number 1. Maybe Nexus Tower number 2. It's falling, but they have to switch focus onto Wayna. He is so indomitably strong right now. He can potentially 1v5 the scenario, solve for the team. No, there is no time. There's no time. This is Ole Miss clawing it back from the jaws of almost inevitable defeat. This is Ole Miss getting your 2-time NECC champions here in League of Legends, and they do it in an astounding fashion.
Oh my god! What just happened? You blinked and you missed it, and suddenly Ole Miss end the game, Crow! What on earth? That was one of the most insane endings I have ever seen to a series. Do whatever you're gonna do, my friend. Take it. I'm warm too. Wow, that was the craziest way to end this series. And hey, Ole Miss calling out every single person on those CLOL Hub power rankings. Fisher were ranked 3rd, Ole Miss were ranked 4th. It's time to change your minds about that. Like you said, 2-time defending NECC champions in one of the most hilarious fashions to end it all off.
Rhino MVP. Simple as that. Rhino is
potentially, honestly,
like that Bard play. 3 different supports played this entire series. As I just readjust real quick. Absolutely insane. I'm looking at this graph right now, and
I'm looking at the graph as well. I don't know if we can pull it up on the screen, but essentially what it comes down to is 4,000 gold at one point was like leveled, was like the median amount there for the side of Fisher, and then about the last minute of the game turns into just like a gigantic like El Capitan Yosemite National Park looking granite slope. And Ole Miss, admittedly, the Land Sharks, they climb that slope, they get to the top of the mountain, they are number 1 in the NECC, so congratulations to them. What a hyped series. I mean, despite it being 3-0, games 1 and 3 were super close. I had a ton of fun watching this best of 5.
I genuinely did not expect this 3-0. I'm not even gonna lie. As Quacks is frozen as a perfect face. Oh my god, y'all clip this as much as you can. Please, guys, get this grab. But it was just absolutely insane. I mean, this was literally Keel and Rhino dragging Asila, kicking and screaming all the way through to the end. Like, just, don't worry, bro, I got you. We got this. Like, this was the definition of just straight up, hey, don't worry, I got this. The trust that they had in each other, ridiculous. Call him, or what are you feeding these boys? Like, what in the
He's
world?
feeding them copium, hopium, you know, 3, maybe 2 steaks a day. This guy is treating his players. I sure as hell know that these guys are going to be celebrating this win, because this was absolutely insane. You know, Crow, from game number 1, we were saying this has to go 5 games, right? This has to be the salty run
So
back.
we thought!
We thought, because game number 1 was so unbelievably close, we thought it was going to be at least 4 games based on the way game 3 was going. Nope.
Insane. Man, quick little shield. We talk about what are we feeding these gamers? What are you feeding yourself? I mean, you can fuel your game with Wenzel's Farm snack sticks. No mess, no distraction, just bold protein pack flavor to keep you locked in, whether you're grinding, ranked, or leading the squad. Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Wenzel's Farm. Fuel for the gamers, flavor for champions. And speaking of champions, once again, congratulations to the two-time NECC League of Legends champions here at Ole Miss. What a 3-0. Just a complete statement made.
Crazy.
Rankings be damned. They did the thing.
They did the damn thing. Rankings be damned. Like you said, everyone who looks at those CLOL power rankings, change your minds. Ole Miss are not below Fisher. They came with a statement series. And now, the next statement that both of these teams are going to have to make is in Nationals, Crow, which is right around the corner.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, man. Are we going to see, you know, the third, you know, in the trilogy?
Maybe.
Like, are they just destined to do this dance forever, as, you know, the saying goes? But, man, that's going to be hot. That's going to be real hot.
Yep, I'm excited for it. And I believe that is everything. Again, just congratulations to Ole Miss. And Crow, do you want to do the honors, my friend?
Oh, send it on home. I hear them calling. I see them in the back. Man, it was so good. It's been so good. Wonderful series for the day. Hype action from start to finish. Maybe ended it a little bit earlier than we thought, but, you know, that's fine. I mean, we get more time to cook some good food later on. But that's going to be it for myself and me and Quacks. First time doing this together, but it just felt so natural.
Absolutely amazing. I loved it. Yeah.
Absolutely loved every second of it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And once again, thanks you so much to everybody behind the scenes here at NECC. Got to shout out the producers as well. Everyone that helps this together, because it takes a village. But we will see you guys next time with more action. Y'all be easy.
Thank you.